The canvas black with whispers gold, stories untold, secrets unfold, diamonds scatter where the shadows sleep, infinite skies, a promise to keep, beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide, above our heads a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting galaxies were like painted streams, brushing the edges of our dreams. Planets hum their silent tune, chasing the sun, kissing the moon. We look but don't see, we forget to believe, beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide, above our heads a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting nebulas bloom in colors untamed, every spark a fire unclaimed, hidden glory just out of sight, a quiet roar in the endless night, beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide, above our heads a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting a fleeting
Hey, welcome everybody to SkyTour Livestream. Where have we been? Is the typical thing I hear. We have been hiding underneath bad weather out there. That's where we've been. It's good to see you all. Nice to see you all here. I really enjoy seeing you come out tonight. We have the pre-winter sky. We're going to be checking things out. It's really cool, and there's a lot going on. So hopefully we will be able to enjoy it together like this for quite a while tonight, I'm hoping. And so this right here, this is the double cluster. It's a beautiful cluster out in Perseus. You can see this beautiful set of stars. These are young hot stars, and they have been formed with a second cluster nearby. And if we look at our planetarium view and zoom in, you can see that we are in this cluster right here, okay, that you see, but there's another one right next to it. Now what's interesting is This cluster here, all right, is about 6,700 light years away, and this cluster over here is actually shown as the same distance, but it's not. It's actually further away. They're more like this in the sky, but because they're approximately the same to your eyes, you make them look like your eyes make them look like they're the same distance, but they're not. That's an interesting thing that happens with this particular cluster. It's beautiful. You can see some beautiful stars in here in this particular cluster. You'll notice there's a couple of red ones, like that one right there that I'm circling. That's a beautiful red star. And some of these stars are evolving, and as they evolve, they use up their hydrogen and they become red giants. And there are several examples of these red giants. Let's see if we can spy any here by bringing this down. All right, let's move over here, and let me do this. I'm gonna take that down. I'm gonna move our level here down so we can start to see color better. So this star looks a little red. You can see that one. It's a very dense star cluster. There's a red one there. All right. The other cluster actually has more of these in it, which is really cool. Yeah, we're in Benson tonight, as you can see by the telescope up there. I'm heading out. By the way, I'm going to be out there on January 20th and to the 28th. And what I'm going to do is something radical, absolutely radical. A Sky Tour Sonoran is getting a facelift. I'm going to go out there, replace the computer. I'm going to actually make this telescope run like this one does. We're going to use this kind of mount that you see here. We have an identical mount. We're going to take the main tube off of the forks that it's on now, the fork mount, discard the forks, and put this guy, this white mount right here, that's actually the color of it too, in place. And what this is going to do is it's going to afford us a tremendous number of additional capabilities. It's going to allow us to raise the telescope higher in the building, and it's actually going to be able to do what this one does, see over the building. Remember how we have limitations in what we can see? Well, that's going away, and we're going to be able to see all the way down low in the sky. If we want to see something low in the sky, we can do a comparison between that telescope and this one. Currently, we have to wait for an object to be 40 degrees above the horizon for it to come up the eastern side of the wall in that observatory. This one, we don't care. We can see everything in all directions because the telescope, as you can see, is above the walls. And we're doing that with the one out in the Sonoran. With a fork mount, you don't have the option to store it in such a way that the forks bring the telescope down lower. The forks are always going to be the same height no matter how they rotate. And that's the problem. So you can only set it up to be the height of the telescope when it's in that stowed position, and the forks are still going to make a minimum height. So anyway, that's what's going on. And so I'm going to be changing it out. We're going to be adding new software. We're going to upgrade everything. It's going to operate using the same system as this right here. You're going to have the same stuff now out there. It's not going to be a convoluted mix of several different applications that have to work. I mean, this one is, we're using this here, okay? I'm taking images here, and I haven't even begun to guide yet. I just thought I would start it up and try it out and see what we get, you know. And as it turns out, it's quite good. So that means there's no wind out there. All right, so now we're guiding, and we were getting perfect shots before, so we're getting perfect shots again. All right. So this is neat. This is, again, one half of the double cluster, and if we annotate it, we can show you what it is. All right, there it is. I'll actually get that more straightened out. So that when you see HIP and a number, that like that right there, that's the Hipparchus catalog. That's a star catalog. So Hipparchus numbers are on a lot of different stars. All right, and so if we zoom in, okay, you can see that we have two Hipparchus stars in here. All right, we have this guy here, Hipparchus 10805, and then we have Hipparchus 10816. Okay, and they're both about magnitude 6.57 and 6.65, so they're just barely visible to the eye. And sure enough, this cluster with its counterpart next door to it are visible to the unaided eye. When you look at it in a dark area, you can see it. Where is it? It's down below Cassiopeia. Let's zoom out and show you where we are. Okay, so we have Cassiopeia right here. Okay, and let's look at the equatorial coordinates so you can see where we are. We're above the pole, right? Here is the pole with Polaris, and right now we're above the pole, and here is the here is the W of Cassiopeia, right? Cassiopeia is here, okay, and then on our way to Perseus, we go down to this last star here. Okay, this last star is called Sagene in Cassiopeia, and you head just less than halfway to the brightest star here. This is in Perseus. Okay, again, you don't see these in the sky, but you see the stars. So between the last star in the W and the bright star that you see down toward Perseus, you see a fuzzy patch just off center, about a third of the way down, and that is the double cluster. And that's exactly what we're looking at right now. These are satellites, by the way. I turned on the satellites just to see where they are, see if they're going to show up in our view, and if they are, we'll have some fun with them to avoid them. So anyway, so that's how that's working, and that's pretty cool. So this, I'll save this image with the annotations as we are, okay, and that's good. The only thing is I got to set the target name, which I forgot to do, and I'll save the annotations again. It'll complain. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, so now I have, I didn't want to do Hipparchus star. Sorry, that was even wronger. That was even more wrong. So I got to do that, and we'll set that to the target name. All right, and if I save with annotations, I get a complaint again. And I'll just get through this. Yep. Okay. All right. So now I save it. There we go. And come down and save it exactly as seen. I have the wood stove running, so the air is full of smoke here. I did, and the smoke was filling the room. My mistake. I have a cough button, so I hit that when I cough, so you don't have to hear it. Yeah, so anyway, this is working. Again, double cluster, looks really pretty. Okay, that's the full field. It's a square field. All right, and we've done a lot of them here, so I'm just gonna save this now. Save exactly as seen. And we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on so we can catch more stuff. Before we do that, I'm going to say hello. Sally Forth's with us. Hi, Sally. How are you? Michael Hedrick is with us. Nice to see you. Karen Belmont. And Star Panda. I don't know why they named me Star Panda. Or why it names you Star Panda. And then Kathy Messick. Hi, Kathy. Daisy and Zoe are with us. C&D Boys with us. Stan from, is it Two Rivers Observatory, right, Stan? How you doing? Good to see you. And then we have I'm Almost Toxic. How you doing? And purple stricker. What is that? I don't know what that is. That's scary. But hello from Hickory, North Carolina. Nice to see you. You know, Autopilot's with us. Good to see you again. Right, Kevin's with us. Nice to see you, Kevin O'Neill. Sarge. Hey, Sarge. I'm glad you could make it today. And we have Podcast UFO. Hey, and you know who that is. That is Martin Willis from Podcast UFO. And his favorite person in the world is Donna, and she is with him. And he says, Mark, Donna, and I say hi. And well, how you guys doing? I know you know how to spell my name, Martin. It's okay. But it's so good to see you guys. All of you, it's really cool. Fantasy's with us as well. It's nice to have you with us, Rockstar. All right, man. Good to see us. The old crowd is with us again. And Rascally Rabbit is here. Nice to see you, man. And all right, so 51 shots. We're going to save these and move along, move along. Nothing to see here, nothing to see here. We'll save this exactly as seen. Fantasy says the alien ship on the other side of the sun was greatly exaggerated. Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's come out of this. Now, just for people that may just be joining us on who aren't in the chat, you know, just go here. Go to skytourlive.org, right? And go to our channel. You can pick the SkyTour live stream with Mark D'Antonio and go there. Check us out. Subscribe. It's worth it because it's all free. This picture you can download for free. It's already up on the server as we speak. All right? And all you have to do is select the option to go download cool photos on our website at skytourlive.org, and you can go right to this, right to the directories, and it maintains the integrity of the data, and it's more scientifically stored. So you got to read the instructions. I want you to be able to use this data for real work other people do, and I think it's kind of cool that you can do it. All right, so we'll come out of here now and go back to our low light mode, which is this one. All right, and I can increase the size while we're here, you know, bring that up. Now here's something to think about. All those stars we're seeing, and we're seeing this live now, by the way. This is live right now. So if one of these stars suddenly went, you know, supernova or whatever, we would see it happen live. Okay, that's why when Betelgeuse goes, we're gonna be on it, like flies on you know what. All right, it'll be pretty cool. So let's go here in Cassiopeia while we're here. Why don't we take a look at this other object over here? This is a neat object right here. It's called, this is the Heart Nebula, but we're going to look at this one here. Now, it's called the Baby Nebula here. It's actually called the Soul Nebula. All right, so I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to move us over there right now. Okay. Now, before I do that, I'm going to stop us guiding here so we don't get a complaint. All right. And then back over here. Okay, we'll come into the Soul Nebula. And we're going to just move down here. And you'll see the view change right now. Ving, there go the stars. And here comes our crosshair. So right now, we've moved to the Soul Nebula. And so we're in the Soul Nebula right now. And as the telescope stabilizes, you will actually see it stabilize like that. There it is. And then I'm going to make sure that we are exactly where we need to be. Okay, there we are. And now we'll check this out one last time. Come here, zoom in. Here we are, and I want to find the more interesting spots in this nebula, which is down here. So we're going to come down to this spot right here, right? And that means we're going to, first of all, I'm going to bring up our field of view. This is the field of view for our telescope, and I'm going to bring it down here, and we're going to go right here. I want to show you this area of this nebula right now. So here we go. I'm going to move us down to that. All right, and there we are. Now if I zoom in, you'll notice that the words and so forth are upside down here. So the actual view, all right, is upside down. So you got to look, you know, upside down to see what the view is in here. All right, that said, well, let's come back here for just 1 second. Yes, okay. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what we have here. We're going to start guiding on this. Take another image and get a guide star. Okay. And now grab our guide star and go. Here we go. All right, now let's do a 55-second image. This telescope, unlike the Sonoran telescope, this telescope is not set up in the same way. The telescope in the Sonoran Desert is running at a very, very fast photographic speed. It runs 25 times faster, approximately, than this telescope. But, actually, that's a lie. It's about 15 times faster than this telescope. This telescope is running a little bit faster, and that's photographically, meaning we can capture things faster. So what we're doing now is just waiting for the first image to come in, and we've got 15 seconds. If you're interested, you can see the countdown over here on the right there, down here, or down here, this side. Kind of hard to see. We've got the Asterian Foundation thing there, but we have 1 second left, and we should see our first image now. Okay, now that doesn't look good until I do this. Okay, and there we go. That's perfect. We've got our beautiful area in here that I want to show you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to color correct it. You'll notice the colors have changed. That lines up our color curves, red, green, and blue. And then I'm going to do a little processing to start bringing out some of the data. And this stuff is stuff you just don't see without a really good telescope. All right, so if I bring that in, all right, you can see it even better. All right, there it is. And I will say that this is looking pretty nice. Yeah, and we're going to let it add up. So right now, we've only got one frame. When the second frame comes in, you'll notice that it actually gets more detail. I know it's subtle, but we're taking a first image, then taking a second, aligning it with the first, and stacking it on top electronically, and we just make an image sandwich. And as we do that, all the random noise out on the edges here in the dark and in the subtle dark nebula goes away, and we're able to actually then see the exact details of what's inside. It's amazing how it works, and it's actually quite good. So we're gonna keep doing that. All right. So now see, I just did a color correction again, and you can see even more detail showing up in here. This is great. Now let's see if it it knows exactly what this is. This is known as IC 1871. What's that? IC stands for Index Catalogs. In astronomy, we astronomers love to confuse you. So we have all kinds of catalogs to describe different objects. We have a new general catalog, NGC. Okay, some of you have seen that. We have the index catalog, IC. We have other catalogs. We have Barnard's catalog, and that catalogs the dark nebula. Like this is a dark nebula in here, dark dust. Well, that's a separate nebula. There's dark stuff up here. There's dark stuff right here. And the Barnard catalog catalogs that. We see a stringer down here of dark stuff. Now, you've heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again. I believe fully that life began in the dark. All right? It began, and I'm not the only one, of course. This is a basic tenet in astronomy, is that life and the building blocks of life were formed in the extreme cold, dark areas and backwaters of the universe, and that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing exactly that. These dark areas here are shielded from the hot stars that are ionizing all the hydrogen in this area. Okay, that's what we're seeing here. Is this red is from ionized hydrogen. If you saw my post about the Orion Nebula today on the Sky Tour Facebook site, you noticed that there was blue and red right near each other, and those were ionized oxygen and hydrogen. And that stuff is incredible because it shows the tremendous spread of star stuff in the universe that occurs after a supernova occurs. And that's what we see. I'm going to save this with annotations after I set the target name here, and we'll call it this, but I'm also going to change it to say it's the Sol Nebula, like Sol Nebula Center, and that's what this is. Okay, and now what I can do is save the image with annotations, and it'll go to that directory. All right, there it goes, Sol Nebula Center on this day. So here's what you're going to wade through when you go online. You're going to go to the date, the name, and the time. 1925-29. That's 7/25/29. So we're in 24-hour time, and then you see the actual name. Okay, so that's how that works, and we'll keep doing that for all of our objects, and that's, you're going to wade through the directories, and you get to the processed directory to see this very picture, for instance. So let's we'll save this now like we see it here, and we're saving an astronomical file format called FITS, F-I-T-S. You see it right there, again saved to the same directory, and that file is used by people doing serious image processing. If you just want pretty pictures, well, then I send you this picture. This is the PNG file that's free to download, and as we speak, it's being uploaded to the database, and you can go grab this picture and just use it all you want. You're more than welcome. They're free. So we have 6 exposures here. Remember, this is a 55-second exposure, so we've been doing 5 minutes 30 seconds so far. Okay. Hello to Marco. How you doing? Good to see you, brother. And Corin Lewis, how you doing? Barbados. Hey, first time. Good to see you, Corin. Thanks for coming in. If you want, like I said, subscribe to us. It'll be really cool to have you with us. And someone's saying, hello to Isabella. Is she here? Tim F., what's going on, man? I didn't see Isabella. Where is she? Holy cow, that's great. Good to see her if she's here. I can't find her message. But hey, Corin, I was in Barbados. I went diving there one year, and I dived with pufferfish. It was really cool. And I went to, and there were parrotfish out in the reef, and I was hanging out down there, and I had learned to hold my breath. And I got up to, I could hold my breath for 7 minutes. And it took all summer to get to that. And so when I ended up going out into the deeper water, I'd have to dive down deeper, and I had to go down about 30 feet. Oh, look at how pretty. About 30, 35 feet. So I would sit down there, and I'd lodged my flippers underneath a big rock, which may not have been a giant clam. And I just sat there on the bottom, just listening and taking in the sights. And once you get used to holding your breath for that long, you kind of forget that you still need air. And so when I started feeling I needed air, I just started to slowly float back to the surface. And as I got to the surface, it was like, wow, I got to go back, because the surface was like a raw, uninviting area, but it was very inviting under the water, And that's, as you know, I'm an astronomer. That's what I got my degree in, and outer space is my thing, inner space is my thing, underwater, and then here, not so much, right? That's my line that I always say, but it's true. I really enjoy the very odd locations people never get to see. So I went underwater. I remember there was a diving class going on, and there were people there scuba on. I just had a snorkel. Now remember, 7 minutes. So I went down to the bottom, and I was about 20 to 30 feet from a diving class on the bottom. They were doing hand signal training. And I just sat there on the bottom watching them. And the instructor kept looking back at me, and I waved, Can't wave fast underwater, so I wave slow. And he came over and he offered me his regulator, and I said, no, I don't need it. I'm good. And he was like, really? And he went back to the group. And I was down there for about 6 minutes. And then I went back to the surface, and then when they came out, they said, were you down there? You were down there the whole time. Yeah. And I couldn't understand their their surprise. And only then did I realize that, when people are holding their breath, they get about 15 to 20 seconds when they start out, and they get up to about a minute. I didn't know that. I was doing 7 minutes regularly after training because I just wanted to hold my breath longer. I thought that I was flawed. I thought that I had to, I didn't know. So it turns out that was really fun, especially without all the dive weights and tanks and stuff like that. Just a mask, snorkel, and fins. I know it's a non-astronomy story. I'm sorry, hate that. And Corin says, thanks, glad you had a great time in Barbados. Come again. I'd love to go back to the island, trust me. I know a woman, her name is Frederica Mezefa Aline, and she was here in the United States. She actually works here now, and she is a really cool lady, and she was actually a nanny working for my sister. And she was the most fun person I ever knew. Really, really cool lady. So I ended up having a really nice time with her. Took her out to dinner and stuff. And she's just hilarious. Her and her husband are here in the States now, in the United States. But what a really cool lady. Very, very nice human being. It was just a very, very good person. And she's from Barbados, and I always cherish my time. I was on Paradise Beach in Barbados. I'm sure you know where that is, Corin. And Karen Model's with us. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. 7 minutes. You could do it too if you just practice all summer. Again, I didn't realize that it wasn't something that you could just do. And it took me a lot longer to do. But I did practice. And that's not my record, though. My record was 9 minutes. All right. But the actual world record is almost 20 minutes, I think. So think about that. 20 minutes on one breath of air. Wow. But they saturate their tissues with oxygen, and you watch them on the surface, and they're hyperventilating and getting all it in there. And then they hold the breath and let out a little, and then they go down. It's so cool. Oh, yodel. Okay. Oh, yodel. Oh, modal. I didn't realize that's how you pronounce it. Thank you, Karen, for correcting me. I've called you Karen Model for years. You've never corrected me. Thank you for doing so. I know, 20 minutes. I can't do it. But I could do 7. And we got someone from Pearland, Texas. How you doing? Oh, Sharon's with us. Sharon and Katie. Hi, guys. Nice to see you. Make sure you subscribe. Join us. This is all free. Look at this beautiful image. This right here. This is the beautiful heart of the Sol Nebula down in Cassiopeia. I'll show you where that is. If we look here, okay, well, not there, but if we come back here, the world keeps turning. Okay, this is where it is, and where is it? Here's the W of Cassiopeia, right? And if I bring up the borders of the constellations, all right, you can see the red borders, all right, and this red border you see right there, that is the size of our scope field, right? And we're actually inside. Our imagery is way better than this. This image here, but you can see this right here, this beautiful dark pillar-like object is really interesting, and it moves. It goes all the way down here. You can see the edges, the fringes have this illuminated, I should say, ionized hydrogen fringe. Then the center is made of dark dust, dust that the universe is creating in old stars, in the outer atmospheres of these older red giant stars. And that dark dust gets spread around the universe during supernovas and so forth. It's really incredible. And when that happens, we see that dark dust. And there's so much of it. Galaxies, you'll notice, have these dark dust in them. We have a couple up in the sky now that we'll probably look at in just a little while. Kind of in our region right now. And so we're looking at this dust like this. And I'm going to do something here. I'm going to drop that down. Okay. Let me see if I can drop it down. Drop it down. Let's see, auto hide it like that, and make this bigger so you can actually see that. Isn't that great? Yeah, let me okay. So here is the center of this nebula. All right, and you can start to see some real detail in here, which is really pretty. Let me go to better quality, and let me do some processing. Let me darken this up. This is a black level. It makes space blacker in the background, and if you pass this peak with this white curve is the average of the red, green, and blue. And if you pass that peak, you start cutting into your actual data. See, watch. Get to the peak, it's really dark. Then as you pass it, look what happens. You could literally make this look just like stars. All right? And you miss the fact that there's a whole nebula in here. All right? So you have to stay just to the left of the peak to get the maximum bang for the buck here. All right? And then what we do is we take this. This is the mid-level. Right? The closer you bring it, the noisier the image gets. See? However, it kind of shows you what's hiding in the background. That's what's neat about this particular mode. All right, so what we do is we move this to the point that gives the best overall view. And as we stack more, like we've stacked 15 right here, you can see 15 objects that we've stacked, 15 frames. Okay, actually 17, but 2 were rejected. Okay, as we stack those, we can actually pull this mid-level closer and closer and closer, because we're getting better data and we're averaging out a lot of this noise. All right, and right now averaging out the noise is a good thing. And right now I'm going to just do another color correction. Okay, they get more subtle. The color corrections get more subtle. I'm going to move this back a little bit because it's a little too close, and I want to show you this, just this kind of view. Take a look at this right here. Do you notice how that actually looks like it's got like a little lighter color to it? Well, it does. Okay, what happens is the dust itself can do one of two things. It can either absorb the light coming from the stars and reflect all of it back, or it can absorb the light from the stars and reflect only the blue light back in every direction. And this is a full reflection nebula. It's actually reflecting all the light from the star, from the many stars in here. Because remember, these stars are within this this is a three-dimensional object, remember, so within this three-dimensional object of the nebula, we have stars. And that's what's responsible for lighting up this. Oh, Kathy, Happy New Year. Thank you so much. That was so generous of you, Kathy. Thank you for the donation. That's sweet. Yeah. And we do have super chats, so if you guys were in the mode, if you wanted to donate, please feel free. I don't take any money for this at all. I just don't feel that's appropriate. I think it's appropriate to teach people astronomy and make it really, really interesting. Like a blurry face, like I can get rid of in a minute. There we go. You know. So, so yeah. So this is the very center of this nebula. Let me just bring back our imagery here, and it's going to. I want to also make sure that we fit the height here. So there's the overall view. It's a square sensor, okay? So we have all these pixels, the same this direction as this direction, all right? And the camera is what's called the 533 MC Pro, and it has the pixels it has is 3008 pixels by 3008 pixels, so it's square, the sensor's square, okay? It's an illusion that makes it look like it's not here. It looks like this is taller, but it's not. All right, so that said, as we look at this developing, we've got 16 here. The reason that some are rejected are because they go above our threshold. Above the threshold, there's wind or something that comes up, a gust of wind. Next thing you know, the image is ruined. So we don't get it. You know, we won't get it, and I don't want it if it's ruined because it'll make oblong stars. You notice the stars are perfect. And that's because we're guiding here, with this particular guiding program. All right, and you can see the peak here. This is the peak of the star, faint as it looks. That star is inside that square right there, and it's guiding perfectly. It hasn't had a single error. But if a wind gust comes along, well, then it's rejected, as expected. You know. Sam S, how you doing, Sam? Sam, I want to thank you for the donation the other day. Thank you so much. I didn't forget. Let's see. Well, we've got 18. We're going to go to 20 on this, and then we will move on to the next item. Let's see now what we're looking at. We're going to come out. We're in this constellation, and I can look at this. I think looking at this guy is a cool thing. This is called the Fishhead Nebula, and it's part of a greater nebula called the Heart Nebula. And so I think that that would be a good thing to look at too. I think you'd like that. You know, at least I think you'd like that. Right? Yeah, of course you will. All right, so I just boosted my mic volume just a tiny bit. Yeah, thank you, Sam. All right, so coming back here now, let's go back to our histogram, and let's go here and color correct one more time. We got a slight movement to the curves. When I do that color correction, you'll see that the red, green, and blue curves line up perfectly underneath each other, as perfect as they can be, right? Obviously, there's more red data in this image because we have a very red cloud of ionized hydrogen gas, which I talked about in my post on Facebook with the Orion Nebula. All right, so yeah, we got a nice group here, Michael Hedrick. Exactly, really nice group, good people. Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, oh, and by the way, I gotta say to Corin in Barbados, hey, when I was there, one of the things I tried to do was find a really dark site where I could go look at the sky. One of the problems is when you try to look at it from an island, and I've been to a few, it's really hard to find a area that isn't affected by the salt air and the fog and the humidity. And I recall it was warm in Barbados when I was there, very hot actually, and there was some humidity, but it was just a very beautiful place. Everybody was so welcoming, good people, you know. So I really enjoyed that, and I will go back someday, I promise. It's an absolutely stunning island. Okay, I just brought this in now because we got a little more in there to cover that. We have 20 frames now, so I'm going to save it, and then we'll move onward. Okay. All right, so this image will now be up on the server here at skytourlive.org. You can go there, go down, and you go to Bring Me to Cool Pictures. You click that button after reading, and then you can go to these. You'll see these directories. You'll see the directory by it'll be by date, and then you have the object name by time. Go to the process directory, and there it is. I know that's a lot. We were working on an app, but unfortunately Microsoft changed some rules which literally ruined our entire app. So we're moaning and groaning. Isabella, who was in our chat I think earlier, had said that this really was just very painful to see after all the work she did to get this app done. And I will say it's a good thing we didn't go live with it, because it would have lasted just maybe 6 months, if that, and then it would have maybe a year, and then it would have been rendered obsolete by Microsoft's new rules that they just imposed without any kind of notice. Suddenly none of our pictures worked. And that was like it was like just a slap in the face to all people who develop, and they didn't care. Oh, look at that. Okay, 22 images. Look at that. Beautiful. You can see that as almost like a 3D dumbbell, can't you? All right, we'll save exactly as seen. Let's get out of there. All right. I hope you guys are having fun. This is kind of fun tonight. It's a beautiful night sky there. And I know that... let me just bring this up too. Okay, so let's come here. And let's go. I said I was going to do the fish heads. Let me do that. Right here. This guy. Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads. Yeah. So we're going to move the telescope there. You can see it move a little bit. You can hear this complaining. Right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a well, let me see. It probably won't know it. Oh, it does know it. Look at that. Okay, so that's the nebula. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center the nebula in the screen here. And let's see how well it does. Okay. And now we'll move it over just a little bit. There we go. And then a little bit down again. Okay. All right. Let's see how good that does. Let's get this guy out of the way. Hey, not you. And let's say this. Okay. Okay, let's do a 20-second exposure briefly to see if we're where we have to be. I think we probably are. I did ask Daryl if he wanted to join us tonight, and he didn't have the ability to come in tonight. Dan Clark's with us. Dan, where you been, man? Where you been? Yeah, love to you and your family too, man. Okay, this has to come down. Yeah. And Karen Modal saying hi again to everybody. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I see what I did here. Get rid of that. And now I'm going to do this. I needed to bring the other ionized region down. Okay. So I'm going to bring this down. Oh, sorry. I did 1,000 seconds, not 1,000 milliseconds. There we go. Okay. No wonder it looks so good. All right, so I'm going to bring this down here. Here's the thing. This telescope is capable of making some really dynamite images. And for doing a sky tour, you don't want to sit here for 30 minutes and wait for one picture to come in, because we stack them all together. So you don't want to wait that long. Who does? So what we do, our motto is that we're going to show you the universe live in real time. So I just want to be able to show you something so you don't feel like you're having to wait and wait and wait and wait, you know. All right, one more 20 seconds. And that's 20,000 milliseconds, which is what this field is in. So now you can see it says 20 seconds right there. All right. Daisy and Zoe says, Daryl under the weather. I'm not sure. I think that he was busy tonight, and I only gave him an hour's notice or so, or 2 hours notice, and that's okay, you know. All right, so there we go. That's what we want right there. Look at that. Okay. All right. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna come in here. We're gonna take a photograph of this section and go live with this, and then we're going to have it grab us a guide star. I knew it was going to be that one. All right. Perfect star. And this will be fine. Unless there's wind, it should hold fine. And then what I'm going to do is make this a 50-second shot. Okay, so there it goes, 50 seconds. And now we're going to go into deep sky mode, which is this mode here. And after this object, I think we're going to look at a galaxy. I'm going to be really, really excited to see it tonight. I'll show you the one we're going to look at while we're waiting for this image to come in. So if we just back out here, from here a little bit, right, and we look up in the sky like this, okay, we're going to be looking right at this galaxy here in the constellation Triangulum. It's getting later in the season for this guy, but it's right there. Oh, look at the fish head. Oh, wow. We're going to look at that later. All right. Right now, we're going to do the fish head, roly-poly fish heads. Yeah, and that's good. So here we are. And there's the fish head. And let's color correct this, which is going to help process right. And we're going to move the black level to the left of the peak like I taught you. And you'll see the subtle detail showing up. See that? And this dark is now, you can see, is connected all through here. Can you see the fish head? There you go. Tell me. Can you see the fish head? For some people, this is the gill. Okay. For some people, this is the eye. And for some people, these are the fish lips. Fish heads. So maybe you can see those. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna pull this up, make it a little darker, and then move this down. Kathy Prenisic says, "Oh yeah, I see it." There you go. Okay. Now you might say, well, here's the picture. Are we done? No, we're stacking. We're doing the same thing. And we're just taking images, aligning, and putting them on top of each other. Karen Model says, I want to go fishing. I'm cosmic fishing, Karen. Cosmic fishing. That's right. Cosmic fishing. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So as I mentioned to the early crowd, I'll be out there from the 20th to the 28th. I'll be down here in Benson. I'm going to Benson. I'm going to be going to the Sonoran Desert Observatory. I'll be going to Tucson, where Karen Moto lives. And I will be going to Starizona to talk to them, because my conversion of the Sonoran telescope is going to require equipment that they probably have in stock. And I'm going to get a guide scope and a guiding camera, install it on my telescope or the SkyTour telescope that's out in the Sonoran Desert. And that telescope is going to be used in a different way. It's going to be used not on a fork mount like a standard Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope is, but like this one. We're going to actually mount it on a mount like this. We have a duplicate mount just like this one up here. Okay, and we're going to put the telescope on that. We're going to take it off the forks and put it right on it, and that's going to be the best possible alternative for us. Because that way, when both telescopes are open, we can control them with the same exact type of program. We don't have to use different software on one from another, which is what we're doing now. And currently the Sonoran telescope is down. I believe that the motherboard on the main telescope in the Sonoran is dead. Yeah, it's maintenance, right? And we fixed it 3 times so far, but no more fixing. Now we're just gonna use a different structure, actually a whole different computer. the telescope out there in the Sonoran is a big desktop system, you know, and I'm changing it to a little computer this big, a microcomputer, a mini computer. That's what's running this one. That's running this telescope right now. It's never had a problem, and it's really, really good. So we're going to do that. Okay, so this guy had a little wind. Okay. Oh, Kathy says she'll be in Tucson the first week of February, going to Kitt Peak. I'm just going to miss you. Oh, my God. That's cool. The director of the Public Affairs Center is a guy named Dean Salmon. I know Dean, and he is a fantastic guy. He actually manages all the telescopes that are up here on the Benson Mountain where we are, and it's pretty cool. So that's neat. Sally Ford says, I tried watching a local astronomy thing but couldn't get into it. Your stories and your playfulness make every part of this engaging. Well, that's very kind. Thank you so much. That's very kind, Sally Forth. Unbelievably kind and humbles me. All right, let me darken this up a little bit more. And let's see if we can pull out a little data here. We've got 6 here. Oh, look at that. Now, you look at this stuff and you wonder, like, how's it actually look in 3D? Right? And you got to wonder how it looks in 3D. Well, it's three-dimensional, right? So we don't know, for instance, whether this dust, right? At least let me say it this way: we didn't know whether this dust was just a gap in the hydrogen gas that's being excited by hot stars, or if it was something in front of the hydrogen gas, or this was in front. Okay. Well, as it turns out, we now know. This is dark dust sitting up here in front of us, okay? And the nebula is behind it. If you look at me over here and down here, you can see the nebula behind it. And so this occludes or blocks what's behind it. That's what we're seeing here. That's what we're seeing here. And the areas in these nebulae that are more red than others, these represent areas of higher hydrogen density. So when we look at this and we zoom in a little bit, okay, if you look at this region right here, let me actually zoom out a little bit. All right, we look at this region right here, color correct again. There we go, much better. When we look at this area, this is a very dense hydrogen gas area, okay, very dense, right? And this is also very dense. This is the dark stuff in front up here, and this is the nebula behind back here, okay? And this again, dense area here is a interesting location. This is a nice, beautiful dense area as well, but you'll notice that it's right next to this dark area. Well, this dark area and this dense area are sort of connected together, but you don't know that until you start doing studies of these nebulae. And you find out that the dark stuff is just a denser amount of dust in that particular location. And that denser amount of dust in that particular location stops the hydrogen from showing up because it blocks a lot of the hydrogen from view. All right, and so that's kind of what's going on here. It's just occluding what's sort of behind it. Uberku's with us. Hey, Uberku, how you doing? Karen Model says, maybe we can do a night sky gaze in my backyard. The complex is pretty quiet. My view faces east. Not very large, but can be very pretty. Oh, I bet it is. I bet it is. That's cool. Very nice. Yeah, so we've got 8 with 2 rejections so far. Again, we're doing 50-second shots here, so we're capturing quite a bit of data. All right, and we'll go to 10 with this. Okay, the camera's actually track stuff. So when you see it, you'll see green squares. It's like alien interloper. You know, believe it or not, there's bugs out there. It's winter everywhere else. However, the temperature in the building right now out there is 11.7 Celsius. So it's pretty chilly out there. Still pretty chilly. Yeah. Here's 10. Okay. And what I have to do now is just bring this up. And we're going to say... I'm going to change the name because you may not recognize it. So I'll say Fish Head Nebula. Okay. And I'll save with annotations. There it is. Save to Fish Head Nebula. And then I will save the astronomical format, the FITS, which those of you that wish to study this that way may. And then save exactly a scene, which is the PNG files. And the PNG files only include the object and not the annotations. The annotations are separate pictures like this, but with the circles and so forth drawn on them. Okay. Now, and I'll just save the last one because it's there. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So now, what we'll do is head on to our next object to look at tonight. I think you'll like this one. It's going to be on the other side of the pole. All right. So what we'll do is we'll zoom in a little here. And let's go here. Back out a little bit. And let's move over here. And move up. And let's go. I know, Andromeda Galaxy. You're all thinking, Andromeda Galaxy, yay! I have a better one. It's actually really interesting. And I want to do that one first. And it's going to be right here. It's a little higher in the sky. Triangulum Galaxy. All right. So here we go. You see where we are right there. And now you'll notice the telescope is now doing a movement. You'll notice that the telescope is moving now. It's got to flip over so when it looks at it, it can see it from an angle that is not going to cause anything to hit the mount. And this is the stuff where all the money is right in this part of the mount. So now it's going to look in that part of the sky. And when we come here, you can see, in fact, it's coming up now. And so here we are. Let's see if it knows where we are. I'll just take a 5-second shot. And then do. Okay, and now it'll be able to tell where we are by doing this. And I'm going to tell it to look for our location. It's found it. Now it's going to move the galaxy dead center in the view. It's 1 degree off. And there it is, right dead center in the view. Beautiful. And this is a 5-second shot, so you can see the whole galaxy right there. Really pretty. Okay. So, we're actually all set with this right now. So all we have to do is start doing our thing. But first, we're going to grab a guide star. There we are. And grab the guide stars and any other supplemental stars. There we go. That's the star that I was hoping. And so every circle has a star it's going to guide on, plus what's in the square. So those are all backups in case that one blinks away for one reason or another. And so now this exposure is going to be 45 seconds. We don't have to go very long. This galaxy's pretty bright. So there we go. We're already guiding, and we're going to do the live stack. And now we're in low light mode. And I'm going to drop out our... I'm sorry, we're in deep sky mode from low light mode. It's kind of cool watching, you know, 420 pounds of telescope move from 2,600 miles away, isn't it? Because that's where I am. I'm in Connecticut, and that telescope is out in Arizona. And if you were there, you would actually see, it moving all by itself. So here comes our first image of the Triangulum Galaxy. Oh yeah, look at that. That's really pretty. Yeah. Now it's noisy because of the fact that I have to do this. That's going to make it even noisier. But you'll see it's got these incredible objects in it. I'm going to drop this way down and do a color correction. It's kind of early to do the color correction because it's going to do that. It's going to make it look red. But we'll wait it out. It'll end up being perfect. Because those red areas really are red in the galaxy. So this is really interesting. Okay, so we've got one image taken, and watch the one here should go to a 2. Oh, it didn't get it. It didn't like that one. Why? Oh, I see. Okay. Must have had some wind on that one. Alright, so let's... Yeah, we lost that one because of the wind. It's alright. But you can see how just one image doesn't look all that hot. And we have to stack them to make them look good. Let's make sure we're guiding okay. Yeah, okay, we're guiding okay there. Alright. Oh, that's interesting. It probably couldn't align. Let's go see what it says. All the way down the bottom. Okay, not stacked because it could not align. Alright, interesting. Well, that happens from time to time. Then it'll happen again. So what I need to do is change how we're doing this. Alright. It's trying to align on very few stars. That's part of the problem. So if I move it a little bit, it's possible. Actually, let's do this. Then move it a little bit to the left. Yeah, I know. Let me just do that. Alright. Oh, we spun around the other side, so okay, down normal. Okay. Let's do this. The galaxy is so big that it can't fit inside one field, but the most interesting parts are going to be here. So now let's reacquire a guide field. Here we are. And grab the guide star. Good. And now we'll do it again. We can do 30 seconds actually. It's not going to matter. Hey, Ronald's here. That's ERRT Radio. Ronald is 6 minutes from this telescope down in Benson, Arizona. Alright, we're going to go and try the stack. Ronald just moved to Benson from Minnesota. He got out before all the blank hit the fan. There we go. And let's move this up and see. Yeah, these are good images of the spiral arms in here. Really, really good. Okay, let's move this over. Notice the blue in these spiral arms. That's all the young, hot, new formation stars. Yeah, see, that one worked. Yeah, so that's cool. And let's move this down a little bit to here for now. See the spiral arms moving out like this and like out like this. This is what's known as an S spiral C, and they come in forms A, B, C. Now the nomenclature's changed a little bit over time, and this nomenclature has included different types of galaxies and accounted for the different types of galaxies in a way that's better than how it used to be, which is really nice. Let's see if our color correction gives... Yeah, there we go. See, now the color correction is starting to show up. You got to get a couple frames in there. We have 3 now. And it'll start to show much better. You can see this dark dust. That dark dust you see right there, all here and there, that's all stuff that's the same as in the Heart Nebula, or sorry, the Soul Nebula we're looking at. This stuff produced by red giant stars, okay, and we're seeing it here. Now, what is this? This is another nebula, kind of like the Orion Nebula, all right, but seen from 2.7 million light years away. This is how long ago we're seeing the light from this. It took 2.7 million years to go from this galaxy into our galaxies and to this telescope right here tonight. I mean, for all we know, we're the only ones looking at this right this moment in time. And this light that we're seeing up here, hitting our telescope, we're the only ones seeing it in the entire world, potentially. Now, that's not so unheard of, because it was 2019 in January. It was this month back in 2019 when we looked at the full moon, and it was happening to be under a total lunar eclipse. And while the moon was dark red, we're one of 5 groups on the entire planet that saw a meteor hit the moon live, and everybody saw it. So that's what happens when you hang out with us. You get to see some really cool stuff. Okay, a subtle change in the colors actually made this a much better color rendering here. This looks a little dim, I know, but you got to understand that I'm just keeping it dim for the moment because I have the median level, this mid-level, farther down off the curve. If I bring it in to where the noise stops, okay, when that noise sort of stops, that's the area where it's going to look kind of bad. Now, it kind of looks green right now, but that's because we just have to wait for the colors to come in. This is more of a proper color rendering, which I manually set just now. But that's what it looks like. It's really pretty. Yeah, and you notice a spiral arm way out here. And then right here you see this bluish region right here. This is an area where there's a lot of young hot stars forming, and that's why it looks blue. And you'll notice I'm looking to the left here when the object's obviously right there. Well, I've got a gigantic screen in front of me. It's a giant curved screen, and I've got the observatory live view here, and I've got the broadcast feed over here. So I'm looking at what you're seeing. So I'm looking at all this, okay, but just in a slightly different direction. Sorry about that. That's all. I mean, I could change that actually just by doing this maybe. Let's try this. Hold on. Yeah, see? Now when I look here, I'm kind of looking where you are, you know? So, not bad. Yeah. Alright, so you see this nebula? That's a big giant nebula there. You see a nice subtle little nebula over here. You see this beautiful little nebula here. Okay? Each of these nebulae in this galaxy has their own designation because at 2.7 million light years away, it's considered close, guys. You know, the Andromeda Galaxy is even closer at 2.4 million light years away. But everything you're seeing here happened 2.7 million years ago. So if you think the light we're seeing right now left, okay, when right around the time when the Atlantic Ocean was opening up, okay, for the first time on our planet, plate tectonics and so forth. So a lot of really interesting stuff going on there, you know. So Ronald says, I was playing a real life Sound of Music. Tony Lowe, peanut butter certainly hit the fan. Yes, we're talking about, you know, Minnesota. Yeah, Ronald, you couldn't have gotten out of there soon enough, huh? Yeah, get away from that. Where you are now, the world hasn't reached there yet, so you're good. The world hasn't reached us here, so we're good. Oh, I gotta show you something while this is coming in. We've got 10 frames in. This is fantastic. I'm going to first set up the object. Look and knows where it is. Okay, we'll just specify a central. There we are. And this is NGC 598 Triangulum Pinwheel Galaxy. We'll set that target name. All right, and we'll save the image with annotations. So you get the image with all this on it. You notice NGC, 0592. That's what this location. It's called an OB Association of Young Hot Stars. Here's an H2 region, index catalog number 135. Right, and so you see how they have all these names. These things have been named, like I told you. Right, IC 131, ionized region over here, right, an ionized region there. In other words, a nebula, like Orion Nebula. You know, pretty cool. And so there's a lot of those names in this particular galaxy. And what you can see, they're faint, like this guy, and this guy, and that guy, and that guy. Those aren't stars. Those are globular clusters in this galaxy. So there's globular clusters here as well that we also see. And that's kind of cool. Okay. So now I did that, and I can get rid of it, and we'll save, and save exactly as seen with 11 frames so far. All right, now let's do a little processing here and try to get some contrast. So we're going to pull this close to the top of the curve, make it as dark as we can. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, look at that, guys. Isn't that incredible? And this is a galaxy you can't see without a telescope. I mean, only in the darkest locations could you ever see this. You know, Dio Crew's with us. Good evening to you as well. And your Dio Crew is in New Jersey. Thanks for coming on in. I like when you tell me where you're coming in from, and that's cool. We have people from China who come in, from Thailand, Australia. We have people from all over the world come in. It's really, really nice to see them. So I hope you guys, take the time to subscribe. Okay, you can support us if you want up there. I mean, once you get to know us, you may want to do that. We have a store where all images that are highly processed and highly finished processed like this are put on different things like water bottles, mugs, mouse pads, clothing, sneakers, believe it or not. Horsehead Nebula on sneakers, we got it. And it's all images we took. Yep. And all of it goes to us to help us. As I mentioned before to everybody, I do not take a paycheck for this. I'm going to move this down to increase the size of our field here. I don't take a paycheck. This is all, it's just important to me to teach astronomy. I got my degree in it, and I know a lot of the people in astronomy, everybody knows, right? But it's important to do this outreach. Very important. Okay. Oh, I kept trying to do this and I keep getting sidetracked by something else. I have to show you something here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this camera right above me, this is looking over the top of the building, right? And if we bring it up into the sky and get it away from that, you can see Orion up here, right? We're getting this glow from the infrared light on this, and this camera is sensitive to infrared light. So what I'm going to do while I'm here, might as well do this, right? I am going to go to that inner camera, and I'm going to turn off that light so you can actually kind of see the beauty of this for a time. I think that's kind of cool. So, okay, there it goes. So now we're just using night vision lights, okay? And let's come back out and go back to this view. So now we look up, and this kind of helps you. This kind of helps you feel what it feels like to be there. You look up, all right, and you can see the stars, all right. And if we move over, all right, that's the star Sirius right there. And if we move up, you can see Orion, okay, right here. There's the Orion Nebula, that little thing right there. I can do this temporarily, I think. Let me just grab this. Let me just grab this and do this. There you go. Okay. It's a little grainy, but it improves. It comes and goes. All right, let's bring it down to about here. But one thing to notice also, if we move over, right, you'll notice there's another telescope pointing up in the sky and working. I'm in one of 10 buildings on the mountain here, and that's the next door neighbor doing his thing. All right, over here, you can see a dome from another telescope up here. Now, all these lights that you think you're seeing, those are so dim when you're there. The low light cameras pick up everything, and it makes it look like a horrible place. But it's not. It's a beautiful place. You cannot see your hand in front of your face. So it's really just a beautiful sight. That's our Starlink. Oh, I've been in the way the whole time. My mistake. Sorry. Let me move out of the way. That's our Starlink antenna right there. Okay, we have Starlink. There's the telescope looking up. And of course, as I said, Orion right up there. Right there, you can see it. There's Betelgeuse. Now, if Betelgeuse went supernova right now, this image of the star would become so bright that it might put a bright lens flare in our view, just like the infrared camera did down below that we just saw a little while ago. So neat. That's kind of a little bit of a tour, right, of the whole setup. Yeah. Okay. All right, and our beautiful galaxy is indeed looking even more beautiful. Let's bring this back down, move it here. Let's move it down, get that in position. Go larger. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So yeah. So it's really pretty. And look at this galaxy. Wow. Okay, we're up to 15 frames, and I'm going to save it. Save it exactly as seen. You can see the wind has had a little bit of an issue because of the 15 frames we took, 14 have not come in. And that's because of the fact that we have wind out there. But this is good. This is pretty much all we need. If we come in here, you'll see lots of red lines. Yeah. So rather than wait for wind-free, I think we can move on. So this is now going to be available up on our server. So we got 16. So I'll save it. And save it exactly as seen. Okay. So this will now be available to you. Okay, so you notice the spiral arms, you notice this dark nebula, and you see the red areas. These red areas, like I said, these are areas of nebulae, like the nebula we just looked at a little while ago. Okay, these bluish green areas, these blue areas are heavy star formation areas. And if we, like I said, bring up the annotation again, you can see this is NGC 0592 and the Association of Stars. Well, that's just shortened. That's a short term for OB association. O-type stars, which are the hottest stars in the universe, almost, and B-type stars, which are the next in line. Young hot stars. This is a region full of ultraviolet radiation. No life can exist in this region, undoubtedly. Okay, so this is a very, very, very hot region, but it doesn't mean that this backwater area here is not prone to life here. Okay, and the OB association was right here. Sorry, I think I was in the way again, but that is the OB, and then but this area right here is an area. Look, my hands and fingers are going behind the dark dust. You see that? This area behind here is the area where you might get some life and planets forming, because it's kind of a backwater. It's off in the corner of a spiral arm where not much is going on. And so the hot regions, okay, like here and here, yes, these are sterile regions, most likely for carbon-based life, right? But these dark regions inside all this dark dust, that's where life begins. And that's what we see. All right. 17 frames. Let's save it. And let's save it exactly as we see it here. And then we can leave the 2.7 million light year distant galaxy for a little while and find our way to the next beautiful object in the sky. And let's go see what that wants to be for us. All right, now oh, that's good. I want to show you this. The Andromeda Galaxy will be for another night. All right, we'll get that earlier. But why don't we, since we're in this region, let's take a look at the Pleiades. All right, and we're heading down toward the Orion region. All right, now if we go to the Pleiades, all right, I want you to notice what we see here as we come in. Okay, obviously we see the stars, all right, and again, we're not seeing the entire group of the Pleiades, all right, and I will show you what we're seeing when we come in here. All right, we zoom in, all right, and you can see that we are purporting to be here, but I think that this star right here might be this star right here, which would be Alcyone. I think this is Merope. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if it can tell us. We're not going to find out yet. I'm going to have to take an exposure. Not enough stars, not enough information. So let's just do a 10-second photograph and then try it. Yeah, I'm wondering if this is Merope. I see fuzzy blue around it, and usually we see that. Okay, and there we go. Oh yes, that's Merope. I know it. All right, let's do this. Let's say, oh, let's just bring this up now. Now it'll be able to tell us where we are. It just needed more data. Yeah, look at that, Merope. Aha. And that's what we're here to see. We're going to check out Merope. You'll see a gigantic bluish nebula here. This is really cool. And we're going to make this our 1 second low light mode again, so we can actually bring Merope in like this. Just beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. Let's bring it up into the view. Jane Murdoch is with us. Hey, Jane. What's up, girl? Good to see you. Jane's been here. She's a cool lady. Lives in a couple towns over. Good friend of the family. Nice to see you, Jane. Okay, so I'm going to center Merope and then move it up a little bit. Like that. And then move it to here. I might even have to go a little more. Because surrounding... See, first of all, the Pleiades, which are these stars, notice they have this blue glow around them. That blue glow is what we call reflection nebula. It's akin to the small dust particles that are surrounding this star cluster in this whole area are actually taking in the light of these bright blue stars. Like here's Merope here, right? And Merope is a B-type star, and this star is so bright that it's able to takes in all the light from the dust. Okay, I should say this: all the light from the star is taken in by the dust, but only the blue light. It's very, very, very short wavelength, very, very high frequency, is reflected back. That's something we know called Rayleigh scattering, and that's exactly what this is doing. All right, I'm gonna put this here. I'm not gonna do it yet. All right, so here's Merope, and what we're gonna do now is show you what happens when we take a nice photograph of Merope. Now, obviously, you saw in the planetarium view, you saw that there's gonna be some dust, but you're gonna see it a lot better in this than you will there. Okay, so let's just do that. All right, I'm gonna make this a 30-second photo, and I gotta go and grab the star. So we'll grab our stars. All right, there we go. That's a perfect star. Beautiful peak right there. This program keeps the peak right in the center. And now we're guiding, and I can actually go on. So now we're doing a 30-second photo right now. We're going to go into our live stack. And as before, the first image won't look too exciting. Now, why is that? Well, if you look over here, okay, let me come over here. All right, this is one of the most important fields on the screen. This is exposure, okay, and then down here is the gain. So the exposure is 30 seconds, okay, and look at that, that's beautiful. And then down here is the gain. And what is the gain? Where'd it go? I missed it. There it is. The gain is set to 200. All right, and what's going on with the gain is the sensitivity of the sensor is being set. Okay, I'm out of focus. I can tell by that star, so we're going to refocus. And you trade off sensitivity of the sensor. All right, you trade off the sensitivity of the sensor with the exposure time, and that's the kind of thing that we do all the time. All right. So I'm going to just try a little something here. Let me see if I can manually get this to go in. Oh, I think I just did it. Yeah, I did it. Okay, good. All right, we'll do this again. 30 seconds. I just did a manual focus. Knowing your equipment is very helpful. And so we're doing 30 seconds again. So I'm going to come out of that low light mode and go into our deep sky mode, and we'll see this again. It's gonna look even a little bit clearer because we're actually gonna see it. That's the earlier one. We're gonna clear this, and here comes the new one. It's gonna look a little better. Stars will be more focused. Yeah, see how there's such dots now? Yeah. Okay. So this is Merope, and now here's the question. The stars are moving around the galaxy. All stars move around the galaxy. Our sun has orbited the galaxy almost 20 times. Can you believe it? It takes around 230 million years for our sun to go around the galaxy once. And as it does so, it passes other stars, and other stars come close and go farther away. Currently, at our position, 2/3 of the way out in the galaxy, we are in an area where there's no giant stars near us that could hurt us if they go supernova. We're kind of in a safe space, okay, which is kind of cool. And the orbits of the stars going around the galaxy, they have their own orbits. If they're about our distance out, they take about the same amount of time. Further out, they take a little bit longer. In, they take a little bit shorter. Okay, closer in, they kind of go around just a little bit faster, and outside, at the very outside edge, they go around a little bit slower. Now, technically, that difference should have been much greater. Okay, when you look at Mercury going around the sun, that's a planet, and it takes 88 days to circle the sun. That's the Mercury year. Pluto was well over 200 years further out. All right, so it's going much slower around the sun, and the reason is because in orbital mechanics, it doesn't take as much energy to maintain a circular orbit or a slightly elliptical orbit. The further out you get, when you're in, you've got to move faster to stay in a circular orbit, and so the solar system auto corrects itself. All right, and that's why the International Space Station at 252 miles above the Earth has to go 17,500 miles an hour to stay in a circular orbit. It's falling as much as it's going horizontal, so that keeps it in a circular orbit because Earth's gravitational field doesn't change on it. So, what that means is that in the world of stars going around galaxies, when the stars go around the galaxy, they too have to do the same thing. All right, let me see. We got a wind gust out there that took us off track for a bit, but we're back. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I gotta change this. Yeah, I'm gonna move this up here. Let's see if this will help us. All right. Yeah, that helped us. Okay. So, what that means is, in our galaxy, stars closer to the middle of the galaxy, or close to the center of the galaxy, should orbit faster than the stars in the middle of the galaxy. And the stars in the middle of the galaxy should be orbiting faster than the stars at the outside edges of the galaxy. And that seemed logical considering our solar system model showed us that Mercury goes fast, Pluto goes slow. Satellite, zoom, look at that. Let's see if we can tell which one it was. Let me just go here, back out, see if we got a satellite coming through here. I'm just looking. It's not showing. It was a much fainter satellite. I've got the satellites showing here, so we don't see it though. Okay, anyway, so when you look at the speed at which something travels around the galaxy, we encountered a problem. And that is that, unfortunately, it looked as if the speed of objects at the center of the galaxy was a certain speed, and then at the middle of the galaxy, it wasn't different enough from the center of the galaxy. It was almost like the galaxy is rotating as a solid disk, and that doesn't make any sense. So there is what's called differential rotation. The outside is going a little slower, but if you think about it, the spiral arms in a galaxy might look very different if they were traveling in the center faster than in the outside. The spiral arms would have left pieces of themselves behind, and maybe the galaxy's arms, if you want to think of it this way, will be all wound up by the time we see them now, 13.8 billion years into the observatory. Marianne Robb saying, "Hey Mark, did you tell everyone we'll be in Arizona?" Yes, I've been talking about the trip to the 20th. Maybe we could do a live stream in the observatory. Hey, wouldn't that be cool? On site. So you'll see me in the pictures up there. And of course, Marianne too. She's our chief financial officer, and she has to watch everything I do. You know, I could go off the reservation, you know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, so so it turns out the galaxy's spinning like more of a rigid disk. Not quite. And so that was a conundrum. That was a problem. And we didn't know how to explain that. So we came up with a theory, and that theory was dark matter. Dark matter, matter that we cannot see, was something that might be a reality. And it's matter we don't see that's assisting the galaxy in rotating like a solid disk. It's a complex topic, but it's pretty interesting nonetheless. Now, the Pleiades, as I mentioned, they have their own rotation rate, orbital rate around the galaxy. And as they orbit the galaxy, you might say, oh, well, they're in this dust, so the dust is going to go with them. And that's not illogical, because nebulae have stars in them, and those stars are going with the nebulae. But guess what? The Pleiades aren't doing that. The dust that the Pleiades are in is all collectively as a whole going in one direction, and the stars are going in another. So what's happening is they're just passing in the cosmic night. The Pleiades are going this way, the stars, and the dust is going that way. And right now, at this point in history, we see illumination of the dust caused by the stars. Isn't that amazing? If we saw it in fast motion, we'd see the stars pass through, light up some dust, and it'll all go away later. Kind of neat. Alicia Vieras is with us. Hey there, Alicia. How are you? Nice to see you. Alicia and her husband, Donovan, have a beautiful daughter. And Darlene is their daughter. She's a fantastic girl. Very smart. Very athletic, too. You guys, man, you're raising a good kid. And Alicia, she's a roller derby queen, just so you know. That's right. You didn't hear it here. I didn't say that. You know. So, yeah. And so I think you can see now, you can see some details in this dust. Thanks to the stars, they're lighting up this dust that we would not have otherwise known was there unless we did studies of this particular area. But the telescope is able to see it, you know, now because of the stars. Now, I gotta tell you, what's interesting is that this dark dust is illuminated by these stars. Otherwise, we wouldn't know it's there. How big is this dust? It's tiny. It's literally micron-sized dust, 10 to the minus 8 meters. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny little spindle of dust. And there's trillions upon trillions upon trillions of it. How is it made? It's made in the outer atmospheres of dying stars. And you might think, when you see all this black dust in galaxies, like we saw with the Triangulum Galaxy, there had to be an awful lot of dying stars to create a lot of that dust. And the answer is there was. Remember, the universe has been around for 13.8 billion years. And in some cases, the stars that make that dust, they only last 3 to 6 million years because they're so massive. Then they go supernova and they spew their guts to the universe. And we're left to pick up the pieces and say, how'd that happen? And that's what we see. That's what we see. You know, so this dust was probably made in either a supernova explosion or in the outer atmosphere of stars and then pushed away by a supernova explosion. Which one? We can't tell. We don't know. But the most interesting thing, the most interesting finding about this dust is that it might be that this dust was actually a cloud that extends all the way to us. And we might actually be looking out at the universe through a similar cloud of dust. I think that's pretty cool. You know, pretty neat. All right. So we're still stacking and guiding, but the wind kind of blows us around a little bit. Okay, let's see if I can color correct here. Yeah, it looks beautiful. it's really much more blue. All right, so it really looks like this. That's what it actually looks like. All right, and now what I'll do is I'll bring up this annotation of Merope. I will save with annotations. Oh, I didn't want to do that. My mistake. I gotta set the target name first. All right, then I'll save with the annotations. And it's now gonna, yes, it's gonna make a complaint. So now I'm saving it properly. And then I will save it. And this will be the astronomical image. We got 16 images. That's more than enough. Okay, we save the astronomical file. Now we'll save the pretty file. There you go. Okay, so this is the image you'll be able to get. You'll even get the satellite trail free of charge. No charge. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now we've done that. Let's take another foray into something a little bit more incredible even than this. All right, first of all, let's go back here. Let's back out. All right, you'll notice that we have Aldebaran in the Pleiades here. Aldebaran is a beautiful red star. It's actually a star that's of spectral type K, and it's actually a giant star. K is orange. And then we have Orion right here, and we're going to come down because I'm wasting no time, and I'm going to take us to this area of Orion. This is called the Running Man Nebula, right? And the Running Man Nebula is literally one of the most beautiful areas in the entire sky, and we're going to go check it out. Let's stop the complaints. All right. And now the telescope is getting aligned up. And it's coming around from the other side. It's got to swing around. Here it comes. See it coming? Yep. Because it's heading to look out in this direction here. All right, and here we go. So let's go and look at what we've got. Let's see if we have the stars to tell us exactly where we are. We're going to do a 4-second shot here. Here we go. And now I will do a identification. It's found it, and now it's going to take us 1.29 degrees away, and you're going to see a most beautiful object. There it is. This is a beautiful nebula, and we're in a 4-second shot. That's why it did what it did. Okay, you can start to see some of the nebula here. Okay. Okay, it stabilizes, and I am going to just take a quick 10-second shot here because there's an area of this that I want to showcase to you guys. It's really cool. So 10 seconds. Ooh, this is gonna be great, you know. Yeah. There we go. And this is the area that I want to showcase. So we're good. Actually, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, remember I talked about the Pleiades and that blue color, right? Well, we've got the same thing going on here. This dark dust, when it's dense, doesn't have the ability to scatter the blue light from the stars because it's too dense and the light can't get out. And this black thing that you're looking at right here, right? This black thing right here, okay, might be up here in the foreground, okay? And the stars and the nebula might be back here. So this is sort of up in the front. And so it's not able to actually scatter any light because it's in front of the stars. In fact, you can see a little fringe as we go forward. You'll see there's a fringe on this. You can start to see sort of through it. Okay, let's grab our guide star here. Oh yeah, this is such a beautiful nebula. Okay, and now we're going to grab our guide star. I'm not sure I want that one because it's not perfect. Let's see if it takes a different one. No, it's still doing that one. Alright, I am going to manually select a star. And we're going to guide on that one. So we're going to grab it, let it settle down. We still have a nice peak. Okay. That other star had a piece of the nebula in it, and it's kind of bothersome. Doesn't work too well. Alright, so now let's do a 40-second shot here of one of the most incredible nebulas in the night sky. It is it's more than just a reflection nebula where it's scattering the blue light. The dust is scattering the blue light from the stars. It actually has an embedded emission nebula, which is what the red nebulae are that we see in other objects. And that emission nebula is inside of it. So you have blue on the outside and the emission nebula is on the inside. And what that does is it makes the emission nebula inside the blue nebula look magenta. Yeah, because that's the complementary color in light. Look at that, a magenta nebula. How about that, huh? That's crazy. Let's zoom out a little bit. Look at that beautiful nebula. The magenta color is literally unlike, oh, that's, the green is too much just because we're waiting for more data to come in. So I'm going to pull out the green. We're going to capture another image. It's a little more like what it looks like, yeah. Yeah, so it's magenta in there. Look at that. Now we've got two. Here is that dark area. You'll notice light clouds in here are not going to be reflection nebula like this blue. This blue is actually dust, you know. It's not emission of atoms. It's actually dust that's scattering the blue light from these young hot stars in here. Okay, and that, again, there's basically three colors in the universe. You have the red of the emission nebula of hydrogen. You have the blue of reflection nebulae, where dust is scattering the light. And you have the teal blue of doubly ionized oxygen, which we see in the Orion Nebula. So we see all manner of different bits of this information in the Orion complex. This area we're in Orion is known as the Orion Molecular Cloud Complex, the OMCC. And there's a lot going on in here. There's we found rogue planets in here, okay, and rogue planets that were formed without a star, just planets moving through in on their own. Really incredible. Let's see if the color correction is better now. Yeah, see, now the color correction is more real. We have to bring in more data. Now we have good color correction. Look at that. That thing I was telling you about is this guy right here. Look at the subtle fuzziness of this. And this area here, it's not blue. It's actually just reflecting the light of the stars. It's not scattering in this particular location. Okay, this area right here isn't scattering. It's just reflecting the light. Same here. All right. So we see all manner of different physical phenomena going on in these nebulae. Pretty cool, huh? Luke, how you doing? Nice to see you. Uberku says, wow. Yeah, no kidding, huh? Isn't it something? Yeah. And let's see. When Marianne tases Mark, he'll be a running man. Ha ha ha. When Marianne tases you, I'll be a laughing man. C&D Boys, one of our longtime wonderful viewers. And thanks for being here, C&D. And Star Traveler says, total eye candy. No kidding, huh? No kidding. It really is beautiful. Yeah, you have this, Marianne has this pic at our headquarters on the wall. That's right. Look at the detail coming in now with this region. See how we're starting to see subtle detail in here? It's only going to get better. This is a beautiful region. This is a 40-second photo to showcase this. You know? Booma7 says, how do materials actually coalesce space particles in space when there isn't a center of gravity like a star? Actually, wonderful question. Fantastic question. The bottom line is, Booma, that it doesn't. This stuff is floating, and what's happening is they have their own gravity. And what will happen is, in like a dark area like this is a higher density dust cloud than, say, over here. So this area, the particles, in the absence of other gravity, are going to be gravitationally attracted toward each other. You know? And I think that's really, I think that's something that's really important to understand. And when we see concentrations of density of, say, hydrogen atoms making brighter red sections, that density, those hydrogen atoms, again, minuscule gravity as it is, but they are approaching each other and collecting toward each other. That's what happens in nebulae in general, and that's why we have nebulae that are called star factories or stellar nurseries, because that hydrogen gas is coalescing and collecting with itself, and then it gets denser and denser and denser, and as the center has more hydrogen piled up on it and pressing in, the temperature gets hot, and that's and when it gets to 13 million Kelvin, okay, or Celsius approximately, then it starts to fuse hydrogen into helium and a star is born. And that's what happens here, you know, in these stellar nurseries. The Orion Nebula just below this is a stellar nursery. I gotta do this. I'm gonna move this down, okay, and hide this just so I can bring this up to full size for you. You got to see this in full size. Look at that. All right, look at that. And let me color correct and just do a final little correction. There we go. Notice the dust looks brown. See that? You're looking at interstellar dust. This dust cloud right here is approximately maybe 4.5 to 5 light years across. All right. So if we were inside of this, it would encompass our sun, Alpha Centauri, Barnard's star, and a few other stars that might be just outside that region. All right, because this. So, and we would not know we're looking out through dust unless we actually did a study to see it, which is why there's been a study to indicate that maybe we're in the Pleiades dust and viewing the universe through a dust cloud. Incredible, huh? That's how it works. Notice the magenta color. Can you see the Running Man in here, by the way? Tell me where you see the Running Man. So, pretty cool. I wanted to showcase this nebula for you guys tonight because this is really gorgeous. So if I do this, you can see we have the Running Man Nebula, which is going to be this guy. And we're going to set that target name. All right, we'll save it with annotations in that directory. There it goes, Running Man. So now you get the annotations so you can see what's in here. That's in the directory. You can go see it at skytourlive.org. Okay, and check it out. And then let me come up here. Notice you start to see this edge sharpen more. You see this dust even more detailed. I can probably darken up the background and bring that brown out even more. Watch this. Look at that. Take it back just a hair. Look at that. Now, I can also overprocess by doing this. Boom. And we can actually see what's actually in there. You can see the wisps more. Now, we're not going to stay on this because this is overprocessed. So we come down to this, and we'll get to that point with the ability to see the detail in a little while. But we've got 12 images taken and only 1 rejected so far. This is really beautiful. Running Man, just a favorite. Just a favorite. Uberku says, isn't the sun in the local bubble? The sun is in, well, we're kind of near the Orion spur, which is, well, Orion. This is Orion in Orion. This is about 1,500 light years from us. And so that's why Orion is so prominent in our night sky, because all the stars of Orion are relatively close, within about 1,500 light years or so. Betelgeuse is oddly closer to us than any of the Orion constellation, right? And you know that when we look at the Orion's belt, we have Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka, the 3 stars in a row. Alnitak, all right, is a very, very hot O-type star, very short-lived. Alnilam is also a very short-lived star, and Mintaka was as well. One of the things that's interesting, one of the things that's interesting is that when Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, or the first identified ancestor of man, humans, right, was walking around looking up in the sky, if Lucy looked up at the stars, of course she wouldn't have the capacity to understand them, she would have noticed that Orion's belt only had 2 stars in it. That's because since Lucy, 4.2 million years ago, another star in Orion's belt showed up. Now, that star, I believe, was Alnilam. Okay, it could have been Alnitak, but I think it was Alnilam. And in another 4 million years, Orion's belt may be entirely gone. And we'll see supernovas there, because all the stars in Orion's belt are going to go supernova. They're burning through their hydrogen at a prodigious rate. So once it's all gone, it's gone. And so the star is going to swell into a red giant, and it's going to make all this, crazy stuff, SNX Radio, is that you, Coley? Let me know in the chat. I want to give you a plug if it is. Yeah, so you can see then that when you look at these beautiful objects in the night sky, there's an entire history associated with them. Where do they come from? What's their evolution state? This is a violent region where we are right now. Okay, this is going to be a violent region. And Boma asks, again, a phenomenal question. Thank you. He says, I'm sorry, I don't know if you're male or female. My apologies. What happens when 2 supernova explosive matter collide? What happens when 2 supernovas explode in nearby? That's happened. And what happens is that the shock waves, outward moving stuff, okay, collides with the other stuff. And where they collide, the temperature can be raised to millions of degrees. And it causes new glows and new ionization of whatever's in that cloud. All right. So that does happen. And there's not much to stop supernova shock waves out in the middle of deep, dark space. All right. Where there's nothing. But a galaxy is a complex place, and the stars that are going to go supernova are usually in the spiral arms, where it's a very, very congested area. It's like being in a traffic jam inside the spiral arms. All right. So this is just the thing, which is, we can't escape this. We cannot escape it. Okay. So yeah, so there's Captain K-Rod. What's going on, man? Nice to see you, brother. If you guys haven't subscribed to us, do so. It's all free, man. Skyterlive.org. You can actually go to our YouTube channel, which you found us on, obviously, and subscribe there. come on in, man. You get this stuff, and you can download this for free, this image, you know, and, you know, make it a background on your computer, you know. If you want to get it professionally printed, you can go to our shop, Etsy shop. You can also go to skytourlive.org, scroll down, go to the art gallery, get it on canvas, metal, all kinds of things. And if you just feel like supporting us, you can go to skytourlive.org, and you can donate to us. The donation facility from the company that's managing those for us is not working right now. I don't know why. It used to, it was, but they're feverishly working on getting it to work again. However, you can super chat here if you want to. I don't care. I would love it. You know, I want to thank Kathy for hers from before. You know, Kathy Pernisek. So you guys are amazing, and because our donations weren't working earlier, Sam S, for instance, he wanted to donate. I mean, he went through hoops trying to figure it out, but now that we figured it out, you can just super chat us here, and we'll still get it as well if you want to do that. I make no money on this. None of us do. There's 3 of us in the organization. Okay, Marianne is in the chat here. She's one of them. She's our CFO, if you want to call it that, for the 501c3 nonprofit. And we are just so proud to bring you the night sky, the beautiful night sky. And if you look at this, it's kind of hard not to look at it. It's kind of hard to ignore it, isn't it? You know? Yeah. Kathy says, I took a few astro courses, but I'm relearning everything I've forgotten. Yes, I'm sure you will. You know? And that's the other thing, too. We're very interactive. If you guys have questions, just put it in the chat. And in the chat, I don't mind all caps. All caps helps us see it. You know? I usually have a co-host, Daryl, and Daryl is not here tonight. He couldn't come tonight. It's all right. As you can tell, I don't have any problem talking. You know? And as a professional astronomer, I went the outreach path. I wanted to bring this to everybody and bring everybody into the discussion about what's out there in the universe, and that's what I'm all about, you know. So I hope that you enjoy it. Look at this now. Wow, I can't. This is making me crazy. Look at the beautiful detail in here. I mean, you'd swear my hand's going behind that black stuff. It's like I'm out there in space with it. Isn't that crazy? It is. I'm out there in space with it. I've been in outer space for a long time. Yes, Ronald. KP is Kathy Pernisek. See that? Yes, it's me. Nothing happened. She's here. She's here. All right, let's see how many we've got. I think we got about 25. 23. Okay, we're almost to 25. Then we'll move on to another object. But I just want you to see this. This is gorgeous. I'll bring this back up. Let me, first of all, we'll do a fit height. And then when I bring this up, it'll auto size. All right, so let's do this. Let's dock it back up. And we auto size it. Look at that gorgeous object. Wow. Now what's interesting is, let me see if I can add a little more contrast to it now. Go up near the curve. Look at that. The more stacked images we get, the better it is, and we can move higher up the curve. See how the curve starts to get like horizontal? That broadens out, and that means that we can move up the curve without getting noise. If I go too close, we'll still get lots of noise. See, like that, lots of noise. But if I'm back here, it doesn't look that bad. And if I go way down here, then it's too far down the curve. We wanna take the happy medium, which is right about here right now. Look at that. Yeah. So I'm going to save it again here. And then the PNG file, which is this right here. Let me show you that again. I've done this before. This is what's going up on the server. You can download this and take it down for free from skytourlive.org. You know. And, you know, you can leave us a message too. You can contact us there. You can say hi to us. You can do whatever you like. You can support us with a Patreon. You can support us with a super chat, but you don't have to do either. We're actually we have maintenance to do. Our Sonoran telescope. This is one of 2 telescopes we have. The Sonoran telescope is down right now, and that's because I do believe the motherboard got whacked by lightning, and so the telescope is no longer functional. So I'm going out there on the 20th to the 28th, and we're going to take that telescope. We're going to take it off the fork mount it's on. It's a tube in the middle of 2 forks, and those forks limit how far it can see over the top of the building. And we're going to put it on this exact type of mount, like right here. This mount is a German equatorial mount. It's called the Skywatcher 6R Pro, EQ 6R Pro. And we're going to put that telescope on here, on that mount, that similar. We have 2 of these. And then we're going to put a little guiding scope and camera on there. We don't need much for that telescope because it's a wide field system. And then we will be good to go on that telescope. And it's going to be able to see over the top of the building like this one can. All right. Nice. So let's see about questions. Hey, Mark, how much would it be for a mouse pad with this one? You know what? Go to our Etsy store, Ronald. At the top right, you see it says SkyTour Shop. You can get there by going to skytourlive.org and going to the Etsy shop and look for the mouse pads. If this one's not on there, I'll make it for you. Not a big deal. It's just a beautiful, beautiful object. All right, we're at 28. I might as well go to 30 since I'm here, right? And C&D, Bob, thank you, brother. That's really nice of you to do that for us. Put up all our links. That's really kind. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that we're looking at a very good rendering of this nebula. Oh yeah. Okay, 29. I'll save it because I'm a glutton. I think if the 30th we had a big satellite go through it, it'd be ruined. I could unstack it though, which I would do. I could unstack the last one shot if we don't like what it did. There's 30. Okay. Are you ready to move on to the next one? If I promise it's better than this, would you let me go to it? I'm hoping that's true. And so we will do it. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm moving on. Oh, I hate to let that one go. It's so beautiful. But think about it. You saw what hides out there, and this is what you see, you know, with your eye. It's a little fuzzier. You know, when you're looking at it with your eye, it can be a little bit brighter. Like you can see some of the fuzz around the stars here. But really neat. I don't want to go to the high gain, because if I go to the high gain, then what happens is we lose the ability to have relatively noise-free images. So it's a trade-off between exposure and gain every time we do this. Okay. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Let's go and look at the Orion Nebula. Now, the Orion Nebula won't fit in our view entirely, but what it can do is take us down here first, right? And it's going to just quickly come in. Watch this. Boom, there it is. Okay, now, what's interesting about the Orion Nebula is it's powered by these 4 stars right here. These 4 stars are called the trapezium. They're very, very hot, young stars. Very peculiar O-type stars, very high in temperature, right? And this area here is literally a very, very bright area that has doubly ionized oxygen in it. It's like a bluish green in a way. This is a feature known as the Bay. It's actually, again, an overlying dark area, and the nebula is behind it. So the nebula, you know, completes the run behind this. It's just you can't see that because it's in our way from our vantage point, but from the side, you'd see it, you know. All right, so this is the trapezium. This is what we see with a 1-second exposure. This is one of the only nebulae that you can see with your eye. You know, that we have in our galaxy, and it's in the northern hemisphere in Orion. Okay, so let's do a 20-second shot of this region. I just want to show you. You see, we can see some color here already, but your eye is most sensitive to green. So when you look at the Orion Nebula through a telescope, a bigger telescope, you can usually see a greenish glow, greenish hue, because you're seeing that doubly ionized oxygen. Okay, but this here is what it really looks like. Okay, now I'm gonna do this to do that. There you go. This is what it looks like. Okay, it's very red, and it has this doubly ionized oxygen. Look how sharp a division that is. I mean, it looks sharp, but if you move toward it, okay, this is the distance across this whole nebula is about 24 or so light years. But if you were to go to this dividing line, it looks really sharp, you'd see a gentle transition over a portion of a whole light year or more, where it goes from predominantly kind of a reddish blue to a more of a bluish green. Okay, so it's a very, very subtle, long transition zone. But from 1,500 light years away, it looks very, very much like it's not. Right. So this is our data. You can see the data is flat on top. We've got a lot of data right away. Okay. And so if we come down here, you can see this is where our mid-level is. It's all the way down here. All right. But if I brought this over more, we can start seeing more detail show up, because we're actually pulling out the detail in the darker areas, like over here. All right. So watch as I do that now. Move over a little more. Oh, see, now it's getting brighter. Now we're also going to quickly wash out this middle portion of the nebula. That is the hottest area, where the stars are actually lighting up this nebula and causing the hydrogen to glow here. All right. So that's what we're seeing here. All right, that's going on right now. Let me color correct a little bit more. That's the wrong color correction. It needs more data to do that. Let's bring that down. That's right. All right, so you can see then that this area right here is very bright. And again, if I bring this in, all right, you'll see that it starts to get very bright, but then this stuff starts to show up really beautifully. So it's a trade-off. Do you overexpose the center of the nebula, or do you keep the nebula in a proper setup so you can see that center like this with some subtle data? And you know, that's the issue. What do you do? All right, what do you do? I particularly like this region here, because you've got these three little tiny stars here. You know, what's happening there? What kind of things are going on there? That's what I'd like to know. What's happening? You know? Captain K-Rod says, I like your hair. It looks different. Oh, I got a haircut. I was Einstein before, you know. And Captain K-Rod says Christmas colors. That's exactly right. These are kind of Christmas colors. You're right. Yep. I also have a red glow on my hair because I'm in red light in my bunker control room here out in Connecticut. Again, remember, you guys, for those who haven't subscribed, subscribe. There's no strings, no nothing. It's all free. If you want it to be, if you want to donate, you can. You don't have to. You can enjoy pictures like this, take them down, put them on your desktops, all you like. You know, if someone asks, you just tell them where you got it. Yeah. good source music for this. The Orion Nebula, 1,500 light years from the Earth. Hot, foreboding, but in the darkness of the nebula, where there's dark dust, life springs anew. That's kind of what's going on there. This is all dark dust here. And if we bring this up, you know, if we take this mid-level back, we can bring it back up more and more. You'll see that dust become more obvious. And I like making the dust become obvious. See, watch. See that now? You see that how the dust looks good? We've washed this out, but we see more dust now. This is incredible. You know, really, really something. So we got 15 here for this. So we're going to annotate this. Let's get this straightened out. We're going to say the Great Orion Nebula. That's where we are. We're actually going to center it up. Okay, Great Orion Nebula. We'll set our target name. Now we'll save this image with the annotations. Like that. And then we'll save it like this with 17 images. Right? And then the actual clickable image that you can just go look at right away is this one. Now you're going to say, well, where are you going? Why are you doing this? I'm going back to just do a 1 second view. Okay, back to this. And now what I'm going to do is move us to a different location. Show you a little bit different area of the same region. Okay. Why here? Well, it doesn't look like there's much going on here, does it? But there is. And I'm going to show it to you. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pull this down. Take that right out of the view. Move this over. And you might say, Mark, you're just like getting rid of the whole nebula. And now I'm going to show you why we're not getting rid of the whole nebula. It's going to be pretty obvious here in just a second. All right. So, first things first, let's go grab our guide stars. And you'll say, oh man, there's nothing to see here. Wanna bet? I promise you there is. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we're now guiding. Beautiful, beautiful curve on our guide there. Now, let's take a 25-second photo right here. Out in what looks like a black area. Let's check that out. We'll go right into live stack because I know we're going to want to see that. All right, and now we're in deep sky mode. Oh, this is going to be good. Are you guys having a good time? Let me know, huh? Designed by Dave. What's up, man? Good to see you, man. Where's the Starship Enterprise? Oh, look at that, huh? Yeah, this is a region of intermixing oxygen with the hydrogen gas. But notice you can see the hydrogen gas right through the oxygen layer. You see that? And this is only one photo. All right, so in the second photo that comes in, this will get clear almost immediately. And it is. Look at that. Isn't that something? You can see through the oxygen glow here. This is the border. Okay, you can see through the oxygen glow that the emission of hydrogen is going on behind it. Isn't that crazy? It's absolutely crazy. And then, of course, you have this dark nebula with a tail. Now that is also really cool. And we can see that better by moving this over, I guess. You can do that. All right. And let's see if the color correction is going to do the right thing. Yes, it will. Very nice. So we can bring this in. All right. And you can see how that wisp of dust is, it's not doing the reflection nebula stuff. It's actually just lighting up from the other areas. But this here, this is a very sharp definition. This is an area where a shock wave of some kind came through here, and it caused the hydrogen gas here to get pushed. All right. And it's probably from the trapezium, the hot young stars, pushing that dust, the gas, until it's denser, making this a brighter region. Okay. And then it pushed it all the way out to here. And the oxygen's actually a little heavier than hydrogen. So the hydrogen's easy to push, the oxygen not so much. So the hydrogen pushes into the oxygen, which is also moving but slower. And we see the overlap. Look at that. Isn't this crazy? You're literally seeing physics in action. It's the beauty of nature, as Kathy says, and it's the beauty of science. You know? So this is a beautiful region, where we see this happening. And of course, just this alone is sort of an abstract painting, isn't it? It's amazing. Now, let's look at the whole picture. So let me do this. You can see we're kind of on the edge, but I want you to see this region. It is beautiful. And you might say, well, wait a minute, what's going on elsewhere in that image? Well, we can kind of go look, right? And we can even over process, and you can see that there's more stuff out there, and there's still more stuff out here. Okay, it goes on and on. The Orion Nebula is like a blister on a dark nebula inside of the Orion Molecular Cloud Complex. You'll also notice this. We have this wisp here, right, going like this, and then we have this one. They look the same, don't they? Kind of the same. This one looks like an angry witch. An eye in the mouth, and this one looks like the little creature it's chasing. Yes, pareidolia is sort of a lot of fun. Yeah, but let's do this. So you can see this dividing line here. It gets softer as we look closer at it, because it's a gentle transition of the oxygen that's appearing here, and the hydrogen behind it is glowing through it, like I said. Isn't that amazing? So you're basically you're basically seeing some incredible stuff here. Let's see. Captain K-Rod says, what would be in the top right corner? Oh, in the top right corner up here is actually more dark nebula and more material. There's a lot of stuff out here. I'm only doing a 25-second exposure. If I did a 3-minute exposure, which I do privately so you don't have to make you endure that, is look, 11 minutes, it'd be 33 minutes just waiting for that 12 exposures now. Okay, it'd be a long time. So it'd be, a while waiting for this to happen. We've only done 5 minutes here. So yeah, what a pretty image. Let's just quickly drop this down and do this. Oh yeah, look at that. That mixing region is just incredible. And there's more traditional mixing regions here where you have the hydrogen and the oxygen sort of commingling together here. All right, and dark nebula, dark dust as well. Just incredible. You can't get enough of this. Yep, can't get enough of this. That's just so beautiful. The more I look at that now, I can't unsee a witch chasing like a gremlin. I said, oh man. I'm a sick man. I gotta tell you, I'm a sick man. All right, let's redock this here. All right, and come down here. Let's do a color correction. Not much change. That's cool. And then, oh gosh, how beautiful is this? This is just beautiful. Oh yeah. 15. No lost frames. That's good. Let's save it. Save exactly a scene. Okay. I want to take us to another object. Or another region. And it's going to be right there. So we're going to go check that out. Just a minute. Just so you can see another sharp division. We won't spend as much time there. Okay, 16. I'll take it. I will. Just go ahead. Alright. I also do write-ups on all these things. So on my Facebook site, you know, at Mark D'Antonio Facebook site, I do write-ups for everybody so you can see what a lot of these things are. Okay, so now let's do this, and let's move down to this region right here. It's a subtle little drop, and there we are. Yep. Thank you so much. Let's do a 5-second photo just to do an acquisition, make sure we're exactly where I want to be. Not long enough. I'll do 12 seconds. I see the dust. I see the oxygen down here, but let's keep looking. I can do a stack on this, just in case we're correct. Not that, but it's not that either. I had to clear it. That was the other thing we're just looking at. But let's see. Yeah, that's approximately where you want to be. You want to be down here. Okay. So let's do that. That star might be right where we want to be, but I want to see this. Okay. All right. So we're going to go down to that. Okay, so we're going to come over here. And we are going to go back to our 1 second. We're going to move that red star right into the center. All right, let's go and do this. All right, come up. Yeah, that's going to be where we're going. Okay, and then let's do this and take that star and move it right here. Here we go. The other direction. The other left. There we go. Yeah, and then we're going to actually bring it down as well. Down a little more. There we go. All right. And now we'll do our same thing. We're going to do this again. We're going to leave this because it's still M42. What the hell is that? There's a bright light that just showed up out there. Holy cow. I don't know what that is. That ain't me. That's looking up toward the hill. Wow, that just happened. Not sure what that is. It'd be interesting to find out. Wouldn't it be funny if we just saw a supernova? Orion's on the other side of the sky from this, but oh man, that'd be cool. Okay, well let's just do this. Let's hope that... Oh, I see the light. You can see the light here. Alright, we're gonna pick a star. Yeah, somebody turned it off. Turn off the light! It's up on the hill where the other observatory is, so they probably turned on a security light for a period of time, which nobody operating telescopes is very happy with. Okay, so we're doing good here. Let's now do another 25-second photo. It wouldn't have affected our shot. And let's go into our deep sky stacking mode so we can actually see what we're looking at. This is fun. Karen Modal says, "Who was that, Benson?" It's a plateau. Oh, look at that! That's gonna be beautiful. Where there's a lot of other professional astronomers on the mountain with me. Okay, besides me, there's 9 other professional astronomers in Observatory Row, where I am, in one of the buildings, and then up on that hill where that light was. Is our other companies and professional astronomers that are doing special examinations of look at this, geosynchronous satellites. Those are the satellites that hover over one spot on the Earth. Look at this, guys. This is another one of those regions that's just, you're looking at ionized, doubly ionized oxygen, so 2 electrons bounce off the oxygen atom. And you're looking at ionized hydrogen. It only has 1 electron, and when it bounces off, when the electrons come back into the atoms, respectively, they give off certain colors of light. In oxygen's case, it's a teal blue. In hydrogen's case, it's a red. So this is 2 of the 3 colors in the universe that we typically see. Isn't that amazing? Oh, yeah. Boma. Damn it, Beavis.
Yeah, look at that nebula.
Turn off the light, Beavis.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You butt munch. Yeah, I watched Beavis and Butthead. Sorry. Okay, this is getting good. Okay, we've got 5 here. Another perfect song to highlight this capture. Beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All the intricacies in the data you're seeing here, all the clouds interplay, the loops and the deep cuts and the filamentary structure. This is all something that's very much powered by the trapezium stars and their very, very powerful stellar winds. You know, and the powerful stellar winds are something that drive a lot of nebulae in the universe. Many, many nebulae are driven in this way. This nebula is no different. Luke says he watched Beavis and Butthead and The Simpsons.
Nobody saw me do it. You can't prove a thing.
Dope! Yeah.
Hey, Homer.
Oh, Marge. Yeah, this is something. This is really pretty. You can see our curve is really tight here. Oh, that's beautiful. The 9th one came in. Just really beautiful. You can see it looks like a tornado dropping down from a cloud, but who knows? It could be a cosmic tornado. But we do this, you can see a little more detail. There's so much data here and so much bright data that it doesn't take long for us to be able to do this. Let's color correct here for the first time. Okay. We need more data to color correct right. There we go. That's beautiful. Look at that. Wow. And we're still at M42, so we can just save there. Let's see if it knows of it as a different region here. Yeah, it doesn't. There's no actual deep sky objects, or I mean, every star is cataloged in here, but just to keep from populating the view with tons and tons and tons of labels, it doesn't put them all in. And the radio says, "Who was the space character that kept looking at Earth? I think from Mars. Was trying to blow it up." Oh, that's Marvin the Martian. Remember him?
Ooh, us Martians get very angry indeed.
Hey, what's up, Doc?
I'm trying to blow up the Earth. It blocks my view of the sun.
Oh, that's okay. What? Oh, man. Marvin the Martian. I grew up on these cartoons of Marvin the Martian. I used to do about 80 impressions and had a radio show where I just talked to myself for an hour in different voices and wound stories up. I never even had a script. I just came up with it. So that's how whacked I am. Sally Ford says, "Well, I've been deep cleaning my kids' room. I had to stop to take this one in." Ah, that's cool. Thank you. I'm sorry to take you away from that, though. Yeah. Yeah, so Aurelio, it's good to see you, man. I didn't see if you came in earlier, but nice to see you. Aurelio runs the Danbury, Connecticut UFO conference down at the Danbury Public Library. I've spoken there many years in a row now because he's a gracious host. And if any of you are in Connecticut, it's a wonderful conference to see. Aurelio, put up the dates, please. You won't just see me talk. You'll see and hear other people talking. It's really cool. Look at this gorgeous, gorgeous field of view. Oh my gosh. I'm going to do that. Notice if you move this down, the noise level's reduced. It's kind of putting it where the best happy medium is. But I tend to bring it forward so you can see some detail. Again, if you go way up, it's too noisy. So you bring it down and it's a little better. But this is a mixing region, a commingling region. And Aurelio says it's in October 2026 is when the conference is. And it's across like an entire week. It's really, really good. He puts together an all-star cast. No, not just me. I'm not all-star. But I'm in the presence of great minds when I go there. You know, including Aurelio's. He's actually got a pretty great mind himself. Kathy Prentice is funny. You can't beat bugs. That's it.
Yeah. What's up, Doc?
You're right. Yeah, so I'm just looking at different details in here to see if we can pick something out. I try and pull out a little extra detail. I'm gonna increase the sharpening a little bit. See if we can pull out detail. Yeah, see? That showcases stuff in here that wasn't visible earlier. If I turn it off, okay, it kind of gets soft and fuzzy, but if I turn it on, okay, you can start to see convolutions in here that were not visible earlier. But this is actually pretty high. If I actually increase the amount, you can watch it get really, really over sharpened. Like, watch. See how that looks? But now, because of this, you can see something else. You can see that this isn't a void in the stars. Right, you know, where there's stuff. This is actually dark nebula that is helping to outline this oxygen cloud, which is probably down here as well, and being blocked by all this. See? This is all a gentle sweeping cloud formation underneath all this. Really cool stuff. So our tools exist to actually give us the information and show us how the universe is actually working, and that's kind of cool. All right, so pull this down to there. Wow, that's beautiful. Corin Lewis says, I'm still awake. Finished processing an image of the Orion Nebula. Excellent. I make, with stats in the images, starless. Yeah, when we process, the first thing we do is remove all the stars. And then we, I don't use StarNet anymore. I used to use StarNet, but it induces artifacts. So I use different methods to remove the stars now, and it works way better than StarNet, if that's what you're using. RC Astro Imaging. RC Astro has a lot of really cool programs for that. This almost looks 3D now, doesn't it? This is really pretty. Yep. Corin, yeah, it's probably after midnight where you are, huh? I mean, are you one time zone ahead of us? Are you in Atlantic time? I think in Barbados, and we're on Eastern time, so you're an hour ahead of us. I think. But you'll tell me. I did a conference in Nova Scotia a couple months ago, my first time there. It looks just like Maine. For those of you from Maine, it looks just like Maine. It's really beautiful. Look at this, 26 of these. I'm going to save it here because I can, because it's all part of the Orion Nebula. Wow, this is something else. Let's go here and let's set it where it wants to be. See how it didn't move it far? That's because we're getting more data. We'll pull it in a little bit. Look at that. Wow, there is just so much in here. If we overprocess it, check it out. See what's in here? You can see the convolutions. And if you process this, okay, like Corin uses a product called PixInsight. I use Photoshop. Yeah, PixInsight is a really good product. But I like to write my own actions in Photoshop. So I use Photoshop for all my processing. It gives me more control. PixInsight scripts don't give you a lot of control unless you want to go modifying and, you know, reapplying. But I like it. And, Corin, one of the things you probably already noticed and know for sure is that when you remove the stars from an image, all you have is the gas and dust that you see, and the gas and dust is really showcased, and you can see the convolutions and the way it's all moving around. Very, very cool. Yeah. And Bob says Kilauea has been erupting, and a few others. Still waiting for Iceland. Well, I was still waiting on Iceland on Dr. Fox 2000. Doc Fox 2000, another great channel if you want to see volcanoes. I know Dr. Fox, great guy. We share each other's information. Look at the detail in this now. Look at how complex this detail is. Look at this. Wow. It kind of reminds me, this part here looks like the top of the Martian war machine, and these are the legs of the machine. Okay, from War of the Worlds. Really cool. Wow. Corin says I use both PixInsight and Photoshop to process. Yeah. I want to learn, and being, you know, because I am an astronomer, I like to know the guts of how things work. So I don't use generic routines made by other people typically. But for star removal, I do, because I know the techniques that that he's using it for RC Astro actions, or RC Astro, to actually do the removals. Very neat stuff. I'm a nerd. What can I say? You know, us geeks. Yeah. Very beautiful. This is going to make a beautiful image. I've got 34 of these. I'm going to save it here. Save it. And then, again, this will be available to you in about 30 seconds at skytourlive.org. Ta-da. Oh, I don't want to go, but I have to go to the next item. Dang. I want you to see this other one now. Okay, well, we're going to move out of the this region for now. And we're going to come down here. And we're going to go to this other spot here. This is an interesting nebula that you've probably never heard of. All right, it's called the 13th Pearl. And when you see it, it's going to probably perplex you just a little bit. Let me make sure we can see it here. Let's yeah, and of course I got to do that. All right. That might be it right there. Let's do a 8-second exposure. I think that's it right there. And I'll just move that down. Yep, that's it. Okay, so if we do this, it knows where it is, and I'm going to center it in the view. Actually, it's NGC 1999. I'll center it in the view. And it's already there. I just have to, wait for the 8 seconds to go, because that's what I did. So here's the 1 second shot now. Okay, so this is a very interesting location. And for a long time, we as astronomers misunderstood what this thing was. So why don't we just do a 35-second shot of this, and we'll go into our live stacking deep sky mode, because I want you to see this object in all its detail. And this may be the last object for tonight. I have to see. And looking up from the telescope, you can see that Orion is high in the sky, right up there in the sky. And that's looking in the camera view there. I know it's not as easy to see, but notice also that the astronomer next to us has got his telescope pointing up in the sky too. You can see it there. There it is. Look at that thing. All right. Now let me explain what you're seeing, because this is among the coolest objects up there. Now, I just finished telling you that when we look at objects like this, we see the black, and it's usually something in front, right? Way up front, okay? Well, in this particular case, this is not the case. This is one of those rare cases where what we're seeing is exactly what's correct. We did not realize this for years. We didn't know. But this is a dust cloud here. This is all dust. You can't tell. This is all dust in here. And we only have 2 exposures right now, but if we overexpose, you really can't even tell. That's because it's so much in here that it overwhelms the frame of the view that we have. But there's a star in here, and it's actually illuminating some of this dust. You're getting some of that reflection nebula where the blue light, short wavelength, is scattered. In other words, absorbed and re-emitted in every direction. It's the same reason why we have blue sky, by the way, is that the atmospheric molecules in our atmosphere absorb selectively the wavelengths but re-emit the blue light in all directions. So no matter where you look, the sky is blue. Okay? Same thing with reflection nebulae like this. But this black thing has been perplexing. People said, wow, that's got to be a highly dense region of dust, which was, a strong likelihood, being that we're looking in a dust cloud right now. Well, guess what? It's not dust. In one of the rare cases where black really means nothing, this is, no, not a black hole. This is a hole in the dark dust, and we're actually seeing through to a dark region beyond. You know? Isn't that something? That's pretty crazy. Look, my camera's getting tired and it's starting to be unfocused. Its eyes are going crazy. Isn't that cool though? So this is known as measure or NGC 1999. Let me just center it up. Okay, it's a reflection nebula, but it's actually got this dark spot in it that's a true hole in the dark nebula. Now you might say, well, how'd they figure that out? Well, the answer is by doing studies of what should be dust. They do a spectral analysis, a deep sky view. They take a deep view of all this, and they'll find the signature of dust in here, the spectral signature of dust. They see the emission or the line of the reflected dust here showing up. Then they see nothing. Then they see the line showing up again, and then dust again out here. That's when they realized, my gosh, this is actually a real region of emptiness. They're rare. Very, very rare. Okay, so this is NGC 1999. We're going to set that target name, which I already did, and we'll save the annotation. Saved. And then we'll save. We have 7 taken here. We'll save it and save it exactly as seen. I got a question. Did I remember to start doing this? I didn't. Luckily, we stacked 7 without any movement of the telescope. It's actually a good telescope. Okay, that's too bright. It's washed out. Yeah, see, we're in a dust cloud, so it's hard. Oh, we'll try it. Isn't that something, though? That is crazy. And if we move this a little to the left of the peak, you can start to see just a little bit of the dust. Here is a little red emission nebula hiding in the dust. This right here is an artifact of the guiding. It's a hot pixel that gets, it looks like a question mark, but you can see there's a number of these exact same shapes throughout the image. That shows you how the guiding was keeping track the entire time. But the hot pixels don't know where to go. That's something. That's cool. I'll tell you, that's just a beautiful object. A true hole in space. Let's go to this guy. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Alright, I'm gonna do this if I dare. We're gonna guide on that guy. Alright, this has gotten a little bit muddy. So we have 10. Well, I'm going to save it anyway. But then I'm going to clear and restart. Now that we're guiding on the other star, you'll see a little difference in how the quality of it. Just a bit. Okay. The stars will be more proper this time. Oh yeah, something else. Let's see how far back it'll go. It's gonna try and do that, and we're gonna bring it way down here. Color correction won't go right away, but it's doing okay. Very, very nice. That bright thing here is where the star is, yes. That's correct, Kathy, the cosmic keyhole. And what's interesting, as I just pointed out, is that is really a hole. Other images of it that show it like this big and oh, it's just beautiful, are absolutely phenomenal looking. Mr. Django, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Mr. Django is listening from Belgium. Corin Lewis is down in Barbados. And we have people from all over the place watching right now. This is fantastic. Make sure you guys join, subscribe, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. This is cool stuff, and you just cannot escape the beauty of the universe, especially when we do it. We've been down only because of weather in Benson, but in terms of the sights and sounds of the universe, yes, sounds. We're gonna be able to show you more as the season progresses. Okay, it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna show you the Christmas tree cluster, the Rosette Nebula, on future episodes of Skytour Livestream, and we have a lot to show. And let's see, we are way over here in the east, so we have Jupiter rising right there. We'll check out Jupiter as it gets higher. Also, one of the things too that we're going to have is 3i Atlas, and 3i Atlas is right there. So we're going to see if we can see 3i Atlas before we go. What do you think of that? Oh, Karen Hill is here. That's Tucson MUFON. I believe that's you, Karen. Okay. All right, we're going to see if we can see... it's in the night sky now. We're going to see if we can see Comet 3i Atlas while we're here. All right, first of all, I'm going to save this with 5. Save exactly as seen. And then we're going to hop out of this. Go back to this. Nice to see you, Karen. Thanks for coming. Karen runs a great Tucson, Arizona Mutual UFO Network group. She is really taken over and gone gangbusters with Tucson MUFON. Very proud of that. Very proud of you, Karen, for doing that. All right, now let's do this. Let's do this. So that little star was going to retreat into its own little world, and I'm going to try and get us to the most amazing thing we can see tonight, if it's there, and that is going to be the comet. Hey, maybe it's here. We're gonna find out. Let me just knock it out. We'll have enough stars though to do a study. Let's do a yeah, it's gonna keep doing that. Let me actually zoom out. There we go. All right, let's see if the comet is in the view. It's getting dimmer as it moves out, obviously, but let's see if we can see it. All right. All right, so what I'll do now is oh, it's going to give us, I think I already did it, I don't see it here. But what I'm going to do is come up here, tell it to plate solve and find where we are in the sky, which it'll do, and then it has to move to the location where the comet is. Has it dimmed that much? I gotta check that out. Let's do... Oh, wait, there it is. Is that it right there? I think that's it right there. Wow. Well, let's do a 35-second shot here. I think we found 3i Atlas. I think it's right there in the middle. So let's now live stack this. 3i Atlas has been a subject of much attention. I've done a number of shows about it on podcasts, TV, and stuff, it's just a stunning object because it's an interstellar comet in our solar system, right? And it's definitely a comet, by the way. Definitely a comet. All right, let's see here. First image. Oh, yes, of course, it has to go. Oh, yeah, there it is. Look at that. Well, folks, we got a special site for you. We got 3i Atlas. Not bad. It's kind of in the murk of the eastern horizon. We're looking through more light. I'm sorry, more air out there. So it's kind of hard to actually see it. But it's getting a lot dimmer as it moves away from the planet. It's right near that star. You also notice that 3i Atlas is sporting a tail. Here it is. You can see the tail right there. I also notice that our focus might be a little off, but that's okay. Wow. In March, it'll be up closer to where Jupiter is. So that's going to be kind of interesting. Yeah, but this guy was causing all the hullabaloo. Interstellar comet right there, 3i Atlas. And I might as well label it as such, because this won't do it. Yeah, it says there's no deep sky objects here. Yeah, there are two. There's 3i Atlas. Yeah, nice. Sally Forth says, "What a night! I know, huh? It's been a lot of fun." Curtis Horan, how you doing, man? Curtis, where you been? You missed everything. This is our last object, brother. Oh man. Yeah, guys, when you subscribe to us, it's all free. You can support us if you like, but it's literally it's free. It's free astronomy at its best, I guess. You'll notice that this star is here, but the comet's going to be moving. The farther it gets, the smaller the movements you'll see. But it's there, and I'm going to save this right now. Normally, after doing 4 images like this, you'd see this thing looking like a dash because it's being dragged out. But as it gets further away, that is not as noticeable. Excellent, Curtis. Very, very good news. All right, I'm going to notice where the comet is relative to that star. Let's clear this now. And we're going to do this one here. Let's see if it's... Yeah, see, look. It's further from the star. You notice that? It's further from the star. And so what this points out is that we have a tremendous ability to see dynamic motion in the universe, don't we? Comets are the ones. Galactic Volcano 3, thanks for coming in and joining us. And I hear from Bob that you do some really good volcano streaming. Fantastic, brother. Maybe folks can look you up. Bob, you have a wrench. If you know his site, go ahead and put it up. Or did you already? Yeah, you did. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Galactic Volcano, I assume it says. I'm sure if you look up, Galactic Volcano on YouTube, it'll come up. Very good. Yeah, so tonight we have a bonus object of 3i Atlas. That's not bad. I'm removing the murky light of the lower altitude here. Yeah, 3i Atlas is not as exciting as it was it? Isn't it? So I'm going to pull this in, and you can see the nucleus and the tail here. Still forming a tail. That's the dust tail. You see there's was a little in the front. That's pretty cool. And Genghis is with us. What's up, man? Someone else saying hi to Isabella. Am I missing Isabella? Where is she? There she is. Oh, Lexi says, hi, Mark. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Late, but still a happy one, and best wishes. Oh, thank you, Isabella. I finally saw your post. So good to see you. So good to see you. I've missed you. Isabella has been so essential to helping us with so much within Sky Tour. It's so good that she's here. Am I actually... Yeah, once again, I'm not even trying to guide. This is neat how I didn't have to guide. That's kind of cool. Not always the case, but now I am. Alright, now I'm going to save this again. See where it is relative to the star. A little bit of motion there in the movement. But let's do this again, and we'll clear it. And the next photo will be 3i Atlas a little further from that star. Yeah, Ronald bought a nice house in Arizona. You're absolutely right. The word on the street is we need to move to Ronald's Arizona. In Arizona. Yeah, that's what Bob says. And I think you're right. He's laughing right now. He's going, no, no. I can hear him. Yeah. Yeah, I went to visit his house before he actually saw it. Well, Galactic Volcano says possible causes of an anti-tail include a hole in the comet's shell, possibly caused by impact with another celestial object. I wouldn't say that. I would say there's two reasons an anti-tail can occur. The first reason is a normal one. We see anti-tails with other comets, and it's the dust tail goes out for millions of miles behind the comet, and depending on the path the comet takes, you can see the dust tail from where it was projected in front of the comet, yet it's millions of miles past it in the back. You know, it's where it was, and so we sometimes see that kind of an anti-tail. This one was a strange one though, because as you point out, it was coming out toward the front, and it was confirmed that it was material coming out toward the front. I think, again, this comet came from an interstellar location. It came from a region where we don't understand the starting materials it had. And so those starting materials also included a lot of carbon dioxide, CO2 ice. And that carbon dioxide ice could have sublimated, because it was on the sunward side, the side facing the sun where this occurred. It could have sublimated and started pushing stuff out at a much higher and more prodigious rate, because there was a lot more CO2 on this comet's surface than we ever thought. You know, it's more than we've seen with comets in our own solar system. Again, different starting conditions. The other thing we saw with this comet was the excess of nickel when it was going on, when it was coming through early on. That excess of nickel was probably due to nickel being bound up with a compound that was more volatile than a similar compound that the iron was bound up with. Here's why. Nickel carbonyl is a nickel atom with 4 carbon monoxide groups. Okay, carbon monoxide is CO, carbon monoxide, carbon oxygen. And 4 of those attached to the nickel atom make nickel carbonyl. All right. Iron can bind up with 5 of those. So you have iron atom with 5 CO molecules, and that's called iron penta 5 carbonyl, iron pentacarbonyl. And at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, nickel pentacarbonyl vaporizes and releases the nickel atom. So, when we saw more nickel, it's possible that we saw more nickel because we were seeing nickel carbonyl vaporizing before we saw any iron. And then as time went on and it got closer to the sun, the iron pentacarbonyl would then vaporize, and that vaporization temperature is 200 degrees Fahrenheit, literally double the nickel carbonyl. So what that means is that we probably saw the effect of different points of different times when sublimation occurs with the nickel and the iron. And as time went on, we did see the nickel to iron ratio, which is one that we look at. The nickel to iron ratio, Ni over Fe, the Fe is the iron, Ni is nickel, did change. It went from a very large number to a much smaller number because we got more iron on the bottom of the denominator. And so the ratio started to even out more. So that is possibly why this happened. Okay, notice where this is now and where the star is now. Look at the difference. Okay, now I'll say this again. I'll probably make another video of this moving through the sky because we're doing it. Now clear. And our next image coming in moments from now, we'll show it even further away. And sis boom ba, and look at that. This is where it was. It was so close to that, it was almost on top of it, and now it's down here. So you see it moving. Now, let's see. Michael Hedrick says, Mark, I have something to tell you. Cousin just moved to Auckland, New Zealand. Maybe you should scout. Maybe I should scout a Southern Hemisphere site for you. Oh, yes. Of course. We would love that. I'm not sure which island would be better. I mean, probably far away from Auckland would be the best. But I will say this. Australia has more possibilities, and it's right next door. And there are plenty of observatories in Australia where we might be able to leverage a position if we knew someone out there. I don't know anyone at like Siding Spring Observatory in Australia. I'm strictly an American boy when it comes to astronomy right now. I don't have any real connection with other people overseas in astronomy like I do here. Look at that. Now, you see how far that is? That looks beautiful. I'm going to save this as well at 2. Wow, very good. All right, well, I'm ready to pack it in for tonight, guys. I hope you guys had a good time. I'll put together this little video to go. It'll probably go from there to there. If I could stay up all night, I would probably have it down about here by then. So it would go through the course of the night. But I do have to get some sleep. Yep. So, to those that came in new for the first time, thank you so much for coming here. Isabella, so nice to see you again. I've missed you. And to the people that are here a lot, can't do this without you. Love you guys. Thank you so much. But we're going to shut down for the evening now. Primarily so that I can find my way to bed, because otherwise I'm going to be asleep when I do it. And I found myself sleeping on really weird spots, like this chair, you know. In any case, I hope you guys have a good evening. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at Contact SkyTour right down below. Contact SkyTour at gmail.com in the lower left there. And be happy to answer your questions through email or live when we're doing this. So really good to see you guys. Let's see, we have Duchamp's Rook subscribed and liked. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you so much. I can't wait to bring astronomy to the masses all over the world. All right, guys, you have a good evening. and I'll see you on the next stream. Good night, everybody.
Stars so bright in the sky, on Arizona nights they fly. Nebulae in colors rare, galaxies beyond compare. Sky tour in the night so clear, brings the universe near. Real-time wonders to see, streaming live for you and me. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. In the dark, the night unfolds, stories of the cosmos told. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Far away, up so high, across the stars beyond the skull. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Lift your eye up so high, across the stars beyond the sky. Sky tour shows us the way, every night a new display. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours